Hello and welcome back to Midnight Mind. Tonight we're going to talk about sleep itself, the thing you're about to do, the state you're entering, the process that takes up a third of your life. We're going to explore what sleep actually is, what happens when you sleep, why do you need it, what it does for you, and we're going to do this gently, slowly, in a way that helps you drift into the very thing we're discussing, because there's something beautifully circular about falling asleep while learning about sleep, about entering the state while understanding it, about experiencing the process while hearing about it. Sleep is universal. Every human sleeps, every night, for hours. You've spent thousands of nights asleep, tens of thousands of hours unconscious, a third of your entire existence in this altered state, and yet most people know very little about it, don't understand what's happening, don't grasp the complexity, the necessity, the profound importance of this nightly ritual. So tonight we're going to change that. We're going to understand sleep while we sleep, learn about rest while we rest, explore unconsciousness while entering it. So get comfortable now, settle into your bed, adjust your pillow, pull up your blanket, let your body find its natural sleeping position, the position it knows, the position it prefers. Let everything relax, let everything release, let everything soften, because tonight you're going to learn and sleep and drift and rest all at once, all together, all flowing into each other seamlessly. Your body already knows how to do this, already knows how to sleep. You've done it thousands of times. It's the most natural thing, the most automatic process. And tonight, you're just going to let it happen while you listen, while you learn, while you gently, gradually, peacefully fall into the very state we're exploring. So breathe deeply, relax fully, and let's begin this journey into sleep, into rest, into the fascinating, essential, beautiful process of sleeping. Sleep is not optional. This needs to be said first, needs to be understood clearly. Sleep is not a luxury, not a convenience, not something you can skip without consequence. Sleep is a biological necessity, as essential as food, as crucial as water, as fundamental as breathing. Your body requires sleep, your brain demands it, your entire system depends on it. You cannot survive without sleep. This has been tested, studied, proven beyond doubt. Animals deprived of sleep die. Humans deprived of sleep deteriorate rapidly, physically, mentally, emotionally. Sleep is not optional. It's mandatory, built into your biology at the deepest level. Every animal sleeps, every single one. From tiny insects to massive whales, from birds to fish to mammals to reptiles. Every creature with a nervous system sleeps in some form, shows some period of reduced activity, reduced responsiveness, altered consciousness. This universality tells us something profound, something important. Sleep is not an accident, not a design flaw, not a vulnerability. Sleep is an essential feature, a necessary process, something so important that evolution preserved it across every branch of the animal kingdom, despite the dangers, despite the vulnerability, despite the time cost. Sleep persists because sleep is essential. Think about that for a moment. Sleep makes you vulnerable, unconscious, unaware, unable to respond to threats, unable to find food, unable to reproduce, unable to do anything except lie there, helpless, for hours, every single day. From an evolutionary perspective, this seems disastrous, dangerous, deadly, and yet every animal does it, must do it, cannot avoid it, which means the benefits must be enormous, must outweigh the risks, must be so crucial that life cannot continue without it. And this is true. Sleep provides benefits so profound, so necessary, so fundamental, that despite all the costs and dangers, no animal can survive without it. Your brain shrinks when you're awake, slightly, measurably. The cells actually contract, pull apart, create space between them, and this space fills with fluid, cerebrospinal fluid, the clear liquid that surrounds your brain and spinal cord. During the day, as you think and work and move and live, your brain produces waste, metabolic byproducts, cellular debris, proteins that don't belong, toxic substances that accumulate, and these wastes build up in those spaces, in that fluid, between those cells, all day long, getting thicker, more concentrated, more problematic. Then you sleep, and something remarkable happens. Your brain cells shrink even more, pull even further apart. The spaces between them expand dramatically by as much as 60%, and cerebrospinal fluid rushes through these expanded channels, flowing, flushing, washing away the accumulated waste, carrying away the debris, removing the toxins, cleaning your brain. This is called the glymphatic system, a recently discovered cleaning mechanism, a waste removal process, and it operates primarily during sleep. Your brain literally cleans itself while you sleep, flushes out the garbage, removes the toxic buildup, restores itself to proper function. One of those waste products is beta amyloid, a protein fragment that in high concentrations forms plaques, the same plaques found in Alzheimer's disease, the same tangles associated with dementia. Beta amyloid accumulates during waking hours, builds up, concentrates, and sleep clears it away, washes it out, removes it before it can cause damage. People who consistently don't get enough sleep accumulate more beta amyloid, show more plaque formation, have higher dementia risk. Sleep protects your brain, literally cleans away the proteins that could destroy it. This happens every night, while you're unconscious, while you're resting. Your brain is performing essential maintenance, critical cleaning, life-preserving work. Sleep is not one thing, not a single state, not a uniform process. Sleep has stages, distinct phases, different types, each with its own characteristics, its own brain activity, its own purpose. And you cycle through these stages multiple times each night. Every night, in a predictable pattern, an essential rhythm, a carefully orchestrated sequence that your brain follows automatically. The first stage is light sleep, the transition, the edge between waking and sleeping. Your brain waves slow down, your muscles relax, your awareness fades. This lasts only a few minutes, a brief doorway, a gentle entry into deeper states. You can be easily awakened from stage one, easily brought back. You might not even realize you were sleeping, might feel like you were just resting, just closing your eyes, just drifting. This is the beginning, the entrance, the first step into sleep. Then comes stage two, still light sleep, but deeper, more stable, harder to wake from. Your brain waves continue to slow, but now they show specific patterns. Sleep spindles, sudden bursts of rapid activity, K-complexes, large waves that surge through your brain. These patterns are unique to sleep. Mark the brain's transition, signal that you're truly sleeping now, not just resting, not just dozing, actually asleep. Stage 2 occupies about half your night, more than any other stage. This is where you spend most of your sleeping hours. In this light but definite sleep, this restful but not deep state, this maintenance mode where your body and brain can recover. Stage 3 is deep sleep, slow wave sleep, delta sleep. Your brain waves become large and slow, rolling like ocean swells, deep, powerful, synchronized. This is the deepest sleep, the hardest to wake from. If someone wakes you from deep sleep, you feel disoriented, confused, groggy. Your brain doesn't want to leave this state, resists awakening, needs this time, this depth, this restoration. Deep sleep happens mostly in the first half of the night, concentrated in those early cycles, front-loaded, prioritized, because deep sleep is crucial, essential, profoundly restorative. Your body does its most intensive repair during deep sleep. Growth hormone releases, primarily during deep sleep. This hormone triggers tissue repair, muscle growth, cell regeneration, healing. Children release massive amounts during deep sleep because they're growing, building, developing. Adults still need it, still release it, still use it for repair and maintenance. Without deep sleep, this release is impaired, reduced, insufficient. Your body cannot repair itself properly, cannot maintain itself adequately, cannot restore what the day has damaged. Your immune system strengthens during deep sleep, produces more immune cells, more antibodies, more infection-fighting components. People who don't get enough deep sleep get sick more often, take longer to recover, show weaker immune responses. Sleep deprivation makes you vulnerable, susceptible, unable to fight off infections effectively. Deep sleep protects you, builds your defenses, maintains your ability to resist disease. This happens automatically, every night, while you're completely unconscious, your body working, healing, strengthening, preparing for tomorrow. Then there's REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, named for the quick, darting eye movements that occur beneath closed lids. REM sleep is strange, paradoxical. Your brain becomes highly active, almost as active as when you're awake, but your body becomes paralyzed, temporarily, completely, except for your eyes and your breathing. Everything else stops moving, cannot move. This paralysis protects you, prevents you from acting out your dreams, from moving, from hurting yourself or others while your brain is generating intense experiences, intense imagery, intense emotions. REM is when most dreaming occurs, vivid dreams, story-like dreams, the dreams you remember. Your brain is processing, integrating, creating, working through emotions, consolidating memories, making connections, solving problems, all while generating these rich, bizarre, meaningful experiences we call dreams. REM sleep increases as the night progresses, short periods early, longer periods later. By morning, you might spend 20 or 30 minutes in REM, long dreams, complex dreams, the dreams that feel real, that affect you, that sometimes you remember. And you cycle through all of these stages, multiple times, each night. A complete cycle takes about 90 minutes, 90 to 110 minutes, from light sleep to deep sleep to REM and back. Then you start again, light, deep, REM, repeat. 4 to 6 cycles per night. Sometimes you wake briefly between cycles, shift position, adjust your blanket, then slip back into the next cycle. Usually you don't remember these brief wakings, don't even register them, just continuous sleep, continuous rest, but actually multiple cycles, multiple journeys through all the stages, all the types, all the necessary phases of sleep. Your brain decides when you sleep, not your conscious mind, not your willpower, not your schedule or preferences. Your brain has an internal clock, the circadian rhythm, a roughly 24-hour cycle that regulates sleepiness and alertness. This clock is controlled by a tiny region, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a cluster of about 20,000 neurons, located in your hypothalamus, right above where your optic nerves cross. These neurons keep time, generate rhythm, drive your daily cycle of sleep and wake. Light is the primary cue, the main signal that sets your clock. Special cells in your retina detect light, not for vision, for timekeeping. These cells send signals to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, telling it whether it's day or night, light or dark, time to be awake or time to sleep. When light hits these cells in the morning, your clock shifts, resets, synchronizes with the external world. This is why morning sunlight helps you wake up, helps you feel alert, helps your brain understand that day has begun. As evening approaches and light fades, your brain responds. The suprachiasmatic nucleus signals the pineal gland, a small pine cone-shaped gland deep in your brain. The pineal gland produces melatonin, a hormone, a chemical signal that tells your body it's time to sleep. Melatonin levels rise, gradually, steadily, making you drowsy, making you ready for sleep, making your brain and body prepare for the transition. This happens naturally, automatically, if you let it, if you don't interfere with artificial light, with screens, with bright environments that confuse your clock, that delay melatonin release, that keep you artificially alert when your biology wants rest. There's another system too, sleep pressure, also called sleep drive. This is separate from your circadian rhythm, independent of the clock. This is a chemical buildup, adenosine, a molecule that accumulates in your brain while you're awake. Every minute you're conscious, adenosine increases, builds up, creates pressure. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine accumulates, the sleepier you feel. This is why you can override your circadian rhythm temporarily. Stay awake when your clock says sleep, but the pressure keeps building, the adenosine keeps accumulating, and eventually the pressure becomes overwhelming, irresistible. You must sleep, not because your clock says so, but because the chemical pressure is too great. When you sleep, adenosine is cleared, broken down, removed, the pressure releases. When you wake after sufficient sleep, adenosine levels are low, the pressure is gone, you feel refreshed, alert, ready. Then the cycle begins again. Adenosine starts accumulating, pressure starts building, until tonight, until the next sleep. This system ensures you can't just ignore sleep indefinitely, can't just decide not to sleep. The pressure builds, becomes undeniable, forces rest whether you want it or not. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine. This is how it keeps you awake. The adenosine is still there, still accumulating, still building pressure, but caffeine molecules fit into adenosine receptors, block them, prevent adenosine from binding, from signaling sleepiness, so you don't feel tired, don't feel the pressure, but it's still there, still building. When the caffeine wears off, all that accumulated adenosine suddenly binds, all at once, and you feel extremely tired. The famous caffeine crash. Not because caffeine made you tired, but because it was hiding the tiredness that was accumulating all along. You need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Most adults. Some need more. Some can function on slightly less. But the average, the amount that allows optimal function, that prevents negative consequences, that maintains health, is 7 to 9 hours. Not 5, not 6, 7 to 9. Actual sleep, not time in bed. Actual unconscious rest. This is not negotiable, not a suggestion. This is what your biology requires, what your brain demands, what your body needs to function properly. Less than this creates sleep debt, a real deficit, a cumulative deficit. Missing 1 hour creates 1 hour of debt. Missing 1 hour every night for a week creates 7 hours of debt. And this debt accumulates, builds up, cannot be ignored. You cannot adapt to less sleep, cannot train yourself to need less. Your body continues to suffer, continues to deteriorate, even if you think you've adjusted, even if you don't feel tired. The damage continues, the deficits grow, the consequences mount. Sleep deprivation impairs everything. Reaction time slows, attention wavers, memory fails, learning becomes difficult, judgment deteriorates, decision-making suffers. Emotional regulation collapses, immune function weakens, metabolism disrupts, appetite increases, weight gain accelerates, inflammation rises, blood pressure elevates, heart disease risk increases, diabetes risk increases, depression risk increases, anxiety increases, all from inadequate sleep, all from ignoring this fundamental biological need, all preventable, all reversible, with sufficient sleep, with prioritizing rest, with giving your body what it requires. 1 night of total sleep deprivation impairs you as much as being legally drunk. This has been measured, tested, proven. After 24 hours without sleep, your performance matches someone with a blood alcohol content of 0.1%, above the legal limit. Too impaired to drive, too impaired to operate machinery, too impaired to make important decisions, and yet people routinely function on inadequate sleep. Chronic partial sleep deprivation, night after night, week after week, living in a state of constant impairment, constant deficit, diminished capacity they don't even recognize because it's become their normal. Sleep is when your brain consolidates memories, transfers them from temporary storage to permanent storage, from the hippocampus to the cortex, from fragile to stable. Without this consolidation, memories fade, disappear, cannot be recalled. Learning depends on sleep, not just on studying, not just on practicing, but on sleeping after studying, sleeping after practicing, giving your brain the time, the state, the necessary conditions to process what you learned, to integrate it, to make it permanent. Students who study and then sleep perform better than students who study and stay awake, even if the total time awake is the same. Even if they're tested at the same time of day, sleep makes the difference. Sleep enables retention. Sleep turns experience into memory, turns practice into skill, turns learning into knowledge. This happens during all stages of sleep, but especially during deep sleep for facts. During REM sleep for skills and emotional memories. Each stage contributes. Each phase processes different types of information, all of it necessary, all of it crucial for learning and memory. Your brain doesn't just consolidate during sleep, it also integrates, connects, synthesizes, finds patterns, makes connections between seemingly unrelated information, generates insights, solves problems. This is why you sometimes wake with solutions, wake with ideas, wake with clarity about something that confused you yesterday. Your brain was working, processing, connecting, creating new understanding while you slept, while you were completely unconscious, completely unaware. Your brain continued to work on problems, continued to process information, continued to seek patterns and solutions. The phrase sleep on it is scientifically valid, literally true. When you face a difficult decision, a complex problem, something you can't figure out, sleep helps, genuinely helps. Your brain processes the information unconsciously, weighs options, considers possibilities, and often you wake with clarity, with decision, with solution. Not because you thought about it, but because you didn't. Because you let your unconscious brain work. Let sleep do its processing. Let the problem solving that happens beneath awareness take place. Sleep deprivation makes you emotionally volatile, reactive, unable to regulate feelings appropriately. Brain scans show why. The amygdala, your brain's emotional center, becomes hyperactive without sleep, overreacts to negative stimuli, generates stronger fear responses, stronger anger responses, stronger emotional reactions. At the same time, connections to the prefrontal cortex weaken. The prefrontal cortex normally regulates the amygdala, calms it, provides perspective, maintains control. But without sleep, this regulation fails. The amygdala fires unchecked, emotions surge, control disappears. This is why everything seems worse when you're tired, why small problems feel overwhelming, why minor frustrations trigger major reactions, why you snap at people, why you cry easily, why you can't handle normal stress. Not because you're weak, not because there's something wrong with you, but because your sleep-deprived brain cannot regulate emotion properly, cannot maintain the normal balance between feeling and control. Sleep restores this balance, restores regulation, restores your ability to handle emotions appropriately, to respond rather than react, to maintain composure under stress. Children need more sleep than adults. Infants need 16 to 18 hours. Toddlers need 12 to 14. School-age children need 10 to 12. Teenagers need 9 to 10, more than adults, significantly more, because they're growing, developing, building brains and bodies. Sleep provides the time, the state, the necessary conditions for this growth and development. Growth hormone releases during sleep. Neural connections form during sleep. Learning consolidates during sleep. Children and teenagers who don't get enough sleep show impaired development, impaired learning, impaired growth. The consequences are not just temporary, not just feeling tired, but potentially permanent impacts on brain development, on physical growth, on long-term health. Yet modern society makes it difficult. School start times too early, homework loads too heavy, screen time too prevalent, social pressures too intense. Teenagers especially suffer. Their circadian rhythms shift later. Biology makes them night owls, want to stay up late, want to sleep late. But school forces early rising, early alertness, early performance, when their brains are still in sleep mode, still producing melatonin, still craving rest. This mismatch creates chronic sleep deprivation, creates impaired learning, creates mental health problems, creates a generation running on insufficient sleep during the most critical period of brain development. Dreams are universal. Everyone dreams, every night, multiple times. Even people who claim they never dream, they do. They just don't remember. Dream recall depends on when you wake. Wake during REM sleep and you'll likely remember a dream. Wake during other stages and you probably won't. Most dreams are forgotten within minutes, sometimes seconds, unless you wake immediately, unless you rehearse them, unless you write them down. They fade, disappear, leave only vague impressions, or nothing at all. Why do we dream? Nobody knows for certain. Multiple theories, multiple possibilities. Dreams might process emotions, work through feelings, discharge emotional intensity in safe simulation. Dreams might consolidate memories, replay experiences, strengthen important memories while discarding trivial ones. Dreams might integrate information, connect new learning with old knowledge, find patterns, generate insights. Dreams might simulate threats, practice responses, prepare for dangers, all of these, none of these, something else entirely. We're still figuring it out. What we know is that dreams are meaningful, not in a mystical sense, not in a prophetic sense, but in a psychological sense. Dreams reflect your concerns, your fears, your desires, your unresolved issues, your emotional state, not through simple symbols, not through universal meanings, but through personal associations, personal imagery, personal narratives constructed from your unique experiences and concerns. Your dreams are yours, generated by your brain, from your memories, your emotions, your life. They mean something about you, about your mind, about what you're processing, what you're feeling, what you're working through. You can influence your dreams, somewhat, with practice. This is called lucid dreaming, becoming aware that you're dreaming while you're still in the dream, still asleep. Once aware, you can sometimes control the dream, direct it, change it, experience it consciously. This requires training, techniques, regular practice, reality testing, dream journaling. But it's possible. Some people do it naturally, others learn. The experience is remarkable, being conscious in the unconscious state. Aware in the dream, present in the impossible. It's a strange in-between state, asleep but aware, dreaming but conscious, a unique form of consciousness that reveals something about the nature of both dreams and waking awareness. Nightmares serve a function, as unpleasant as they are. Nightmares let you experience threat, experience fear, experience danger in complete safety. Your brain generates scenarios, frightening scenarios, and lets you experience the emotions, the responses, the fear. But you're safe, in bed, protected. Nothing can actually hurt you. This might help you prepare, might help you process real fears, might help you practice emotional responses. Children have frequent nightmares because they're learning about danger, learning about fear, learning what's threatening and what's safe. Adults have nightmares during stress, during trauma, during periods of high anxiety, the brain working through fear, processing threat, attempting to integrate frightening experiences or possibilities. Recurring nightmares often relate to unresolved issues, unprocessed trauma, ongoing stress, something your mind is trying to work through, trying to resolve, trying to integrate. The nightmare repeats because the issue isn't resolved, because the emotion hasn't been processed, because something needs attention, needs addressing, needs work. Sometimes therapy helps, sometimes stress reduction helps, sometimes just time helps. The nightmare eventually fades, changes, resolves, as the underlying issue resolves, as your brain finally processes what it needed to process. You cycle between sleeping and waking on a daily basis, but there are longer cycles too. Seasonal variations. Many people sleep more in winter, feel sleepier, want to hibernate. This is normal, natural, responding to longer nights, less light, the environment signaling rest. Historically, humans did sleep more in winter, went to bed earlier, woke later, had a different rhythm than summer. Modern artificial light obscures this, lets us override it, but the tendency remains. The inclination to rest more when days are short and nights are long. There are also sleep cycles across the lifespan. Infants sleep most of the day. Polyphasic sleep, multiple periods. No consolidated night, just alternating sleep and wake every few hours. Gradually, this consolidates, becomes biphasic, two major periods, a long night's sleep and a daytime nap. Eventually, for most, it becomes monophasic, one long sleep at night. This is cultural as much as biological. Some cultures maintain siestas, maintain biphasic sleep into adulthood. The afternoon nap, the midday rest, honored, expected, built into the schedule. This might actually be more natural, more aligned with human biology. than the monophasic pattern modern industrial society demands. As you age, sleep changes again. Total sleep time decreases slightly. Deep sleep decreases more noticeably. REM remains relatively stable, but light sleep increases. You wake more frequently during the night, have more fragmented sleep, more difficulty falling back asleep. This is normal aging, not insomnia necessarily, just the aging sleep system, less efficient, less consolidated, less deep. Older adults often compensate with naps, return to biphasic sleep, or compensate by spending more time in bed, resting even if not sleeping. Both approaches can work. Both can provide sufficient rest, even if the sleep itself is lighter, more broken, less like the deep, consolidated sleep of youth. Temperature affects sleep. You sleep better in cool environments. Cooler rooms, cooler bodies. Your core body temperature naturally drops as you fall asleep, drops by 1 to 2 degrees. This drop is part of the sleep initiation process, part of what triggers sleep. Cooling helps this process, makes the temperature drop easier, signals to your body that it's time to sleep. Hot environments interfere, make sleep difficult, prevent the necessary temperature drop. This is why summer nights can be challenging, why you toss and turn when it's hot. Your body can't cool down enough, can't reach the temperature that enables deep sleep. Taking a warm bath or shower before bed can help. Counterintuitively, the warm water raises your surface body temperature. Then when you get out, your body releases that heat rapidly, cools down quickly. This rapid cooling can trigger sleepiness, can help initiate sleep, can create the temperature drop that your body associates with bedtime. Many people find this helpful, find that the bath ritual, the cooling afterward, the physical relaxation, all combine to make sleep easier, faster, more natural. Light exposure matters beyond the morning. What you do with light in the evening affects your sleep. Bright light in the evening delays your clock, delays melatonin release, tells your brain it's still daytime, still time to be alert. This is why screens are problematic, not just because of mental stimulation, but because of the light itself, the brightness, and especially the blue light, the wavelength that most strongly affects your circadian clock, most strongly suppresses melatonin, most strongly signals daytime to your brain. Evening screen use delays sleep, makes it harder to fall asleep, reduces sleep quality, shifts your entire rhythm later. Dimming lights in the evening helps your brain understand that night is approaching, that sleep time is near, that melatonin should begin releasing. You can use warm-colored lights, red or orange tones. These don't suppress melatonin as much, don't signal daytime as strongly, creating a light environment that gradually dims, that shifts warmer, that signals the transition from day to night. This supports your natural rhythm, supports melatonin release, supports the gradual slide into sleepiness that makes falling asleep easy and natural. Consistency matters enormously. Going to bed at the same time every night, waking at the same time every morning, every day, including weekends, including days off. This regularity strengthens your circadian rhythm, makes it more robust, more reliable, makes falling asleep easier, makes waking easier, makes you feel better throughout the day. Irregular sleep schedules weaken your rhythm, confuse your clock, create a constant state of jet lag. Social jet lag, it's called, when your biological time and your social time don't match. When you sleep late on weekends, then early on weekdays. Constantly shifting, constantly adjusting, never fully synchronized, always somewhat off. This social jet lag has real consequences. Impaired mood, impaired cognition, increased health risks, just like real jet lag, just like flying across time zones. But self-imposed, week after week, many people live in this state, never fully in sync, never fully rested, because their sleep schedule varies too much. The solution is consistency, same bedtime, same wake time, every day. This feels restrictive, feels limiting, but it provides freedom, the freedom of sleeping well, of waking refreshed, of functioning optimally, of feeling good. Exercise affects sleep. Regular exercise improves sleep quality, makes falling asleep easier, makes sleep deeper, makes you feel more rested. The timing matters, though. Exercise in the morning or afternoon helps. Evening exercise, especially vigorous exercise close to bedtime, can interfere, can make you too alert, too energized, too elevated to sleep. The arousal from exercise, the increased body temperature, the elevated heart rate, all of these make sleep difficult if they're too close to bedtime. But earlier in the day, these same effects are beneficial. Tire you out. Create the right kind of physical fatigue, the kind that promotes deep, restful sleep at night. What you eat and drink affects sleep directly, measurably, significantly. Your diet influences your sleep quality, your sleep timing, your ability to fall asleep, your ability to stay asleep, the depth of your sleep, the restoration you receive. Food and drink are not separate from sleep, not independent variables. They interact, they influence, they matter. What you consume during the day, especially in the evening, especially near bedtime, affects how you sleep, affects whether you sleep, affects the quality of the sleep you get. Heavy meals close to bedtime disrupt sleep, make it uncomfortable, make digestion interfere with rest. Your digestive system requires energy, requires blood flow, requires activity to process food, to break down nutrients, to absorb, to metabolize. When you eat a large meal, a heavy meal, close to bedtime, your body is faced with conflicting demands, conflicting priorities. Your circadian rhythm says sleep, says rest, says reduce activity, but your digestive system says work, says process, says digest this food. These conflicting signals create problems, create discomfort, create sleep disruption. Your body diverts blood flow to your digestive system, to your stomach, to your intestines, to support digestion. This increases core body temperature slightly, but enough to matter, enough to interfere, because sleep requires cooling, requires your core temperature to drop. This is part of sleep initiation, part of the process. Your temperature drops, you become sleepy, you fall asleep. But digesting a heavy meal raises temperature, opposes this drop, interferes with this process, makes falling asleep harder, makes the transition more difficult, your body trying to cool down for sleep, while simultaneously warming up for digestion. These opposing processes create conflict, create difficulty, create delayed sleep onset. The physical sensation matters too. The fullness, the distension, the feeling of being stuffed. This is uncomfortable, makes lying down uncomfortable, makes finding a comfortable position difficult. You're too full, too distended, too aware of your stomach, your digestion, your body working. When you're trying to rest, trying to relax, trying to sleep, this awareness, this discomfort, this physical sensation keeps you awake, keeps you alert, prevents the relaxation, the letting go that sleep requires. Acid reflux becomes more likely, more common, more problematic. When you lie down with a full stomach, gravity no longer helps keep stomach contents down. Keep acid where it belongs, in your stomach, not in your esophagus. When you're upright, standing, sitting, gravity helps, keeps contents down, keeps acid contained, but lying flat, horizontal, gravity no longer helps, and a full stomach, full of food, full of acid, more easily refluxes, more easily pushes back into your esophagus, creating that burning sensation, that discomfort, that pain. That definitely prevents sleep, definitely causes wakings, definitely disrupts rest. Spicy foods worsen this, particularly worsen reflux. Spices irritate, stimulate, increase acid production, relax the lower esophageal sphincter, that valve, that barrier between stomach and esophagus, making reflux more likely, more severe, more problematic. People who eat spicy foods near bedtime often experience heartburn, experience reflux, experience disrupted sleep, waking with burning, with discomfort, with pain. That requires sitting up, requires antacids, requires time to resolve before sleep can resume. If it can resume, some foods are particularly problematic, particularly disruptive. Fatty foods, high-fat meals, these take longer to digest, sit in your stomach longer, slow gastric emptying, meaning the fullness lasts longer, the digestion lasts longer, the interference with sleep lasts longer. Fried foods, rich foods, creamy foods, heavy sauces, all problematic, all sleep disrupting, all worth avoiding. In the evening, near bedtime, when sleep is approaching, protein-heavy meals can be problematic too. Large amounts of protein, require extensive digestion, extensive metabolism. This generates heat, metabolic heat, as your body processes, as it breaks down, as it metabolizes. This heat production, again, opposes the cooling, the temperature drop that sleep requires, making sleep harder, making falling asleep more difficult, especially if the meal is late, is close to bedtime, is still being digested when you're trying to sleep. But some protein might help. Earlier in the evening, moderate amounts. Protein contains tryptophan, an amino acid, a precursor to serotonin, and serotonin converts to melatonin, the sleep hormone. So adequate protein, earlier in the day, throughout the day, supports melatonin production, supports sleep, but large amounts, right before bed, create more problems than benefits, create digestive burden, create metabolic heat, create interference with sleep. Carbohydrates have complex effects. Simple carbohydrates, sugars, can cause blood sugar spikes, followed by drops. These fluctuations can disrupt sleep, can cause wakings. When blood sugar drops too low, in the middle of the night, your body releases stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, to raise blood sugar, to protect the brain, to maintain fuel supply. But these stress hormones wake you, alert you, disrupt your sleep, create middle-of-the-night wakings that seem to come from nowhere, that have no obvious cause, but are actually blood sugar instability from earlier food choices, from evening eating patterns. Complex carbohydrates are different. Better, whole grains, vegetables. These provide steady energy, steady blood sugar, without spikes, without crashes, and they can support sleep, support serotonin production, support melatonin synthesis, when consumed earlier, in moderate amounts, as part of balanced meals. Throughout the day, this steady nutrition, this balanced intake, supports better sleep, supports stable blood sugar, supports the physiological conditions that good sleep requires. The timing matters enormously. When you eat is as important as what you eat. Eating early, finishing dinner early, 3 hours before bed, 4 hours before bed, gives your body time, time to digest, time to process, time to move food through, before sleep begins, before you lie down, before digestion and sleep have to coexist. This separation, this gap, allows digestion to complete, allows your stomach to empty, allows your body to transition from digestive mode to sleep mode without conflict, without competition, without interference. Cultural eating patterns matter. Some cultures eat large midday meals, smaller evening meals. This pattern aligns better with sleep, supports better rest. The large meal, the heavy digestion, occurs midday, when you're active, when you're upright, when digestion doesn't interfere with anything important. Evening meals are lighter, easier to digest, less disruptive, more compatible with approaching sleep. Modern Western pattern of light breakfast, light lunch, heavy dinner, late dinner. This pattern works against sleep, creates digestive burden right when sleep is approaching, is needed. Shifting this pattern, eating larger earlier, lighter later, often improves sleep. Dramatically, people report easier sleep onset, fewer wakings, better sleep quality, just from changing meal timing, meal size, meal distribution, across the day, same total food, same total calories, just redistributed, earlier, lighter at night, and sleep improves, because digestion no longer competes with sleep. Alcohol is complicated, paradoxical, deceptive. It makes you drowsy, makes falling asleep easier initially. This is what people notice, what they experience, what they remember. They drink, they feel sleepy, they fall asleep quickly. They conclude, alcohol helps sleep. Alcohol is a sleep aid. This is wrong, completely wrong, dangerously wrong, because alcohol disrupts sleep severely, significantly, in ways you don't notice, in ways you don't remember, but in ways that matter, that affect you, that impair the restoration that sleep should provide. Alcohol is a sedative, a central nervous system depressant. It slows brain activity, reduces arousal, induces drowsiness. This is why falling asleep is easier, why sleep onset is faster. After drinking, your brain is sedated, suppressed, slowed. This feels like sleepiness, feels like tiredness, triggers sleep, or something like sleep. But sedation is not sleep, is not natural sleep, is not the same as physiological sleep. The brain activity is different, the stages are different, the restoration is different. Sedation mimics sleep, superficially, but lacks the depth, the quality, the restorative properties of actual sleep. The first part of the night, after drinking, might seem okay, might feel fine. You fell asleep quickly, you're sleeping deeply, or seem to be, but the sleep architecture is wrong, is distorted, is abnormal. Deep sleep is reduced. REM sleep is suppressed, completely suppressed. In the first half of the night, your brain cannot enter REM, cannot dream, cannot perform the emotional processing, the memory consolidation that REM provides. This stage is blocked by alcohol, by its effects on brain chemistry, on neurotransmitters, on the mechanisms that generate REM. Then, as the alcohol metabolizes, as blood levels drop, as effects wear off, the second part of the night becomes disrupted, fragmented, disturbed, rebound occurs. Your brain tries to recover, tries to catch up, tries to get the REM. It was denied. REM rebound, increased REM attempts, increased REM pressure, but this creates light sleep, fragmented sleep, frequent wakings. You wake repeatedly, toss and turn, cannot stay asleep, cannot reach deep, restful sleep. The second half of the night is terrible, is disrupted, is unrestful, even though you fell asleep quickly at the beginning. You might not remember the wakings, the disruptions, the fragmentation. You might think you slept through, slept fine, slept well, because you don't remember the brief wakings, the arousals, the disruptions, but they happened, they occurred, they fragmented your sleep, reduced quality, prevented restoration. You wake, feeling unrefreshed, feeling tired, feeling like you didn't sleep, because you didn't, not properly, not deeply, not restoratively. The alcohol prevented real sleep, quality sleep, restorative sleep. Alcohol also affects breathing, relaxes muscles, including throat muscles, airway muscles, making obstruction more likely, making snoring more likely, making sleep apnea worse, much worse. People who don't have sleep apnea develop it temporarily. After drinking, people who have mild apnea develop severe apnea. After drinking, the breathing disruptions increase dramatically. Oxygen levels drop more frequently, more severely. Sleep fragments more extensively. Health impacts worsen acutely from just one night of drinking before sleep. Alcohol is also a diuretic, makes you urinate more frequently, more urgently, disrupting sleep with bathroom trips, with wakings, with interruptions to empty your bladder multiple times through the night, each time breaking sleep, fragmenting rest, preventing the continuous sleep your body needs, the consolidated rest that provides restoration. You drink, you fall asleep, you wake to urinate, you fall back asleep, you wake again to urinate again. Sleep becomes choppy, broken, inadequate from multiple causes, multiple effects, all from the alcohol. People who drink. To help sleep, to facilitate sleep, to ease the transition, are actually harming sleep, worsening sleep, creating worse rest than if they didn't drink, stayed sober, let natural sleep occur naturally. Yes, falling asleep might take longer without alcohol, without sedation, but the sleep that follows is better, much better, deeper, more restorative, more consolidated, more beneficial. The trade-off is worth it. Longer sleep onset, but better sleep quality, better restoration, better morning function, even moderate drinking affects sleep. You don't need to be intoxicated, don't need to be drunk. Even one drink, two drinks in the evening still affects. Sleep architecture still suppresses. REM sleep still creates. Later disruption. The effects are dose dependent. More alcohol, worse effects, but even small amounts have measurable impact on sleep quality, on sleep stages, on restoration. The recommendation is clear, is simple. Don't use alcohol for sleep. Don't drink before bed. If you drink, drink earlier, finish drinking several hours. Before bed, 3 hours, 4 hours, allowing time for metabolism, for blood levels to drop, for effects to wear off. Before sleep, before bedtime. This minimizes, doesn't eliminate, but minimizes the sleep disruption, the architecture distortion, the quality impairment that alcohol causes. Caffeine has a long half-life, 6 hours. This is important. This is crucial. This is often not understood, not appreciated, not considered. Half-life means the time for half of the caffeine to be eliminated, to be metabolized, to be cleared from your system. After 6 hours, half remains, still active, still present, still affecting your brain, your sleep, your physiology. If you drink coffee at 2 p.m., at 2 in the afternoon, by 8 p.m., by 8 at night, half that caffeine remains still in your system, still in your blood, still blocking adenosine receptors, still interfering with sleep pressure, still making falling asleep harder, less natural, less likely. At your bedtime, at 10 p.m., at 11, a quarter of that caffeine still remains, still present, still active, still interfering with sleep. This matters. This affects sleep onset, sleep quality, sleep depth, even if you don't notice, don't feel, don't perceive the effect. People underestimate caffeine's duration, its persistence, its effects. They drink coffee in the afternoon, mid-afternoon, think it's fine. Think it's early enough. Think it won't affect tonight's sleep. But it does. It will. It's still there. Still active. Still interfering. When bedtime comes, when sleep is needed, when you're trying to fall asleep, the caffeine opposes this, blocks this, makes this harder, slower, less successful. Some people are more sensitive, much more sensitive to caffeine. They metabolize it slowly, very slowly, have genetic variations. In liver enzymes, in CYP1A2, the enzyme that breaks down caffeine for these people, slow metabolizers, the half-life is longer, much longer, 8 hours, 10 hours, even 12 hours. For them, morning coffee can affect nighttime sleep, can still be present, still be active, still be interfering when bedtime arrives, when sleep is needed. Others metabolize quickly, fast metabolizers. For them, caffeine clears rapidly, efficiently. They can drink coffee in the evening, late afternoon with no effect, no sleep disruption, no interference. Their bodies clear it fast, eliminate it before bedtime, before sleep. This is genetic. This is individual. This is variable. You cannot change it, cannot control it. Just need to know your own pattern, your own sensitivity, your own metabolism, how to know. Your sensitivity, your metabolism. Experiment. Try cutting off caffeine earlier. Stop drinking coffee. Stop drinking tea. Stop consuming caffeine earlier in the day. Try noon as your cutoff. See if sleep improves. If falling asleep becomes easier. If sleep quality seems better, if you wake more refreshed. If so, you're sensitive, you metabolize slowly, you need early cutoff to protect sleep, to allow sleep, to sleep well. If no change, if sleep is the same, try later cutoff, try 2 p.m., try 4 p.m., find your limit, find the time that affects you, that disrupts sleep, that interferes, then adjust, set your cutoff before that time. Give yourself margin, buffer to ensure caffeine has cleared has metabolized, has stopped, interfering with sleep, by bedtime, by sleep time, by when you need rest. Caffeine is not just coffee, not just. Obvious sources: tea has caffeine, green tea, black tea, oolong tea, all contain significant caffeine, less than coffee, but still enough to matter, enough to affect sleep, if consumed too late, too close to bedtime. Soda contains caffeine, colas, Mountain Dew, many soft drinks, energy drinks, obviously, high caffeine, very high, sometimes dangerously high. These definitely affect sleep, definitely disrupt, definitely interfere. Chocolate contains caffeine, dark chocolate, more than milk chocolate, but both contain some amount, some quantity, usually not enough, to significantly affect most people, but for sensitive individuals, for slow metabolizers, even chocolate, evening chocolate, can interfere, can disrupt, can delay sleep onset. Worth knowing, worth considering. If you're sensitive, if you struggle with sleep, some medications contain caffeine, pain relievers, Excedrin, others, cold medications, some allergy medications, diet pills, obviously, weight loss supplements often contain caffeine, lots of caffeine. Check labels, check ingredients, be aware what you're taking, what you're consuming, whether caffeine is present, is included, could be affecting your sleep. The recommendation is clear, is straightforward. Know your sensitivity, know your metabolism, set appropriate cutoff for caffeine, for your body, for your sleep. For most people, noon to 2 p.m. is reasonable, is safe, ensures clearance before bedtime. For sensitive individuals, earlier, morning only, maybe 10 a.m. as cutoff. For fast metabolizers, more flexible, later cutoff, still fine, still compatible with good sleep. Know yourself. Adjust accordingly. Protect your sleep by managing caffeine timing. Naps are complex, not simple, not straightforward, not universally good or bad, beneficial or harmful. Depends on many factors: duration, timing, individual needs, individual patterns, sleep debt, sleep schedule, context, circumstances. All of these determine whether napping helps or hinders, whether naps are beneficial or problematic for sleep, for function, for you. Short naps, 20 to 30 minutes, can be refreshing, can boost alertness, can improve mood, can enhance performance without interfering with nighttime sleep, without creating grogginess. On waking, these power naps, these brief naps, provide benefit without cost, without penalty, without problems. You rest briefly, you wake refreshed, you continue your day with improved function, alertness, mood, and tonight's sleep is unaffected, unchanged, normal, because the nap was short enough, brief enough to avoid deep sleep, to avoid significant pressure, release, to avoid interference. The mechanism is straightforward. Brief rest allows recovery, physical recovery, mental recovery, without entering deep sleep stages, without significantly reducing sleep pressure. Adenosine levels remain high enough that nighttime sleep is still easy, still strong, still happens at normal time, with normal ease. The brief nap provided boost without undermining tonight's rest. When you nap briefly, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, your brain enters sleep, light sleep. Stage 1, Stage 2, the initial stages, the shallow stages, the easily reversible stages. Your brain waves slow down, your muscles relax, your awareness fades, but you don't go deep, don't enter slow wave sleep, don't reach that profound unconsciousness, that deep restorative state that takes time, that requires longer duration, that needs 45 minutes, an hour to reach. This light sleep still provides benefits, real benefits, measurable benefits. Your brain gets rest, brief rest, partial rest, enough rest to refresh, to restore some alertness, some function, some capacity that was declining, that was fading, that was impairing you before the nap, the brief shutdown, the temporary disconnection from external stimuli, from constant processing, from ongoing demands. This break, this pause, this rest allows recovery, allows refreshment, allows restoration of alertness, of mood, of performance. Your body also benefits. Muscles relax, deeply relax, more than during quiet, waking rest, the sleep state, even light sleep, triggers deeper relaxation, fuller release, complete letting go of muscular tension. This physical rest, this muscular recovery contributes to the refreshment, the restoration, the boost that brief naps provide. You wake, feeling looser, feeling refreshed, feeling physically restored, as well as mentally sharper, more alert, more capable. The key, the crucial element, the essential factor is brevity, is shortness, is limiting, duration, keeping the nap short enough, brief enough that you don't progress, don't descend, don't drop into deep sleep, into slow wave sleep, into that profound state from which waking is difficult, is problematic, is impairing. Stay in. Light sleep, stay in. Reversible stages, stay in. The shallow waters of sleep, where waking is easy, is quick, is clean, without grogginess, without impairment, without problems. Setting an alarm is essential, is necessary, is required for brief naps, for power naps, for effective recovery naps. You cannot trust yourself to wake naturally after 20 minutes. You won't. Your brain will continue sleeping, will progress deeper, will enter stages you don't want, don't need. That will create problems, not benefits. The alarm ensures waking at the right time, the optimal time, before deep sleep, before problems, before the nap becomes counterproductive. When the alarm sounds, wake immediately. Don't snooze, don't delay, don't think. Just wake, just get up, just move. This immediate response, this quick action prevents falling back into sleep, into deeper sleep, into stages you were trying to avoid. Get up, turn on lights, move your body, activate, engage with environment. This ensures the nap ends when intended, when beneficial, when still helpful, not harmful. The adenosine remains high after brief naps. This is crucial. This is key. This is why brief naps don't interfere with nighttime sleep. Adenosine, the sleep molecule, the sleep pressure chemical, builds up during waking, during activity, during consciousness. Every minute awake, more adenosine accumulates in your brain, creating pressure, creating drive, creating need for sleep. This pressure, this accumulation, this drive is what makes you sleepy at night, makes falling asleep easy, makes sleep strong, deep, consolidated. A brief nap, 20 minutes, doesn't clear much adenosine, doesn't significantly reduce the buildup, the accumulation, the pressure. Most of it remains, stays high, continues, building after the nap, during continued waking. So by bedtime, by nighttime, the pressure is still there, still high, still strong, making sleep still easy, still natural, still happening at normal time, with normal ease. The brief nap didn't undermine this, didn't reduce this, didn't interfere with this essential process. This is why brief naps work, why they're recommended, why they're beneficial. They provide immediate benefit, immediate boost, immediate recovery without creating later problems, without interfering with tonight's sleep, without undermining the most important sleep, the nighttime sleep, the consolidated 7 to 9 hour sleep that your body really needs, really requires for full restoration, full recovery, full health. The nap is supplement, is boost, is enhancement, not replacement, not substitute, not alternative to nighttime sleep. But longer naps create problems, multiple problems, serious problems. Naps longer than 30 minutes enter deep sleep. This is inevitable, unavoidable. The sleep cycle progresses naturally. Light sleep, then deep sleep. If you nap longer than 30, 45 minutes, you will enter deep sleep. Will be in deep sleep when the alarm rings, when it's time to wake up, and waking from deep sleep is problematic, is difficult, creates sleep inertia. The sleep cycle has its own rhythm, its own progression, its own timeline. You cannot control this, cannot stop this, cannot prevent the progression from light to deep. If you sleep long enough, deep sleep will come, will begin, will happen. This is biological, automatic, inevitable. The cycle moves forward. Stage 1, light sleep. Stage 2, slightly deeper. Then stage 3, deep sleep, slow wave sleep, delta sleep, the profound state, the restorative state, the state from which waking is hard. This progression takes time, takes duration. The first 30 minutes, usually light sleep, mostly stage 2, some stage 1, but after 30 minutes, after 45 minutes, deep sleep begins. Slow waves appear, delta waves emerge, large, synchronized, powerful. Brain waves, your brain going deep, going profound, going into that state of minimal consciousness, maximum restoration, but also maximum difficulty, waking. This is where problems begin. This is where long naps become problematic. If you set alarm for 60 minutes, for 90 minutes, for an hour or more, the alarm will sound during deep sleep, during slow wave sleep. During that profound state, your brain will be deep in unconsciousness, deep in slow waves, deep in delta activity. Then suddenly, alarm, sudden noise, sudden demand to wake, to alert, to function, and your brain cannot respond quickly, cannot switch instantly, cannot transition smoothly from that deep state to full wakefulness. Sleep inertia is that feeling, that groggy feeling, that disoriented feeling, that impaired feeling. Upon waking from deep sleep, your brain was deep in slow waves, in synchronized activity, in minimal consciousness. Then suddenly, forced awake, forced alert, forced functional. It cannot transition quickly, cannot switch instantly from deep sleep to full alertness. The transition takes time, takes minutes, sometimes takes hours, during which you feel terrible, feel impaired, feel worse than before the nap, than if you hadn't napped at all. This grogginess is profound, is disabling, is miserable. You wake, but you're not awake. Not really, not fully. Your eyes might open, your body might move, but your brain isn't working, isn't functioning, isn't online fully. You're confused, disoriented, don't know where you are, what time it is, what you're supposed to be doing. This confusion, this disorientation, this fog is sleep. Inertia is the brain's inability to quickly transition from deep unconsciousness to full consciousness. Your thinking is slowed, dramatically slowed, severely impaired. You cannot think clearly, cannot process information, cannot make decisions, cannot solve problems. Your brain is still, partly asleep, still in sleep mode, still operating at sleep, speed, at sleep, capacity, which is much reduced, much impaired, compared to full waking, function. You try to think, try to process, try to respond, and you can't. It's slow, it's difficult, it's impaired. This is sleep inertia. Your reaction time is delayed, severely delayed, dangerously delayed. You cannot respond quickly, cannot react appropriately, cannot move fast enough to demands, to situations, to requirements. If you need to drive, need to operate machinery, need to respond to emergency, you can't. Not effectively, not safely, not adequately. You're impaired as being drunk, as being intoxicated. Your brain cannot generate fast responses, quick reactions, appropriate actions during sleep, inertia. Your judgment is impaired. Your decision making is compromised. Your ability to evaluate, to assess, to choose appropriately, all reduced, all degraded, all dysfunctional. During sleep, inertia, you might make poor decisions, risky decisions, dangerous decisions, because your prefrontal cortex, your judgment, center, your reasoning, area is still partly asleep, still not fully functioning, still impaired by the sleep state you were just in, the deep sleep state. That still affects you, still impairs you, still compromises your function. Your coordination is reduced. Your movements are clumsy, unsteady, imprecise. You might stumble, might fumble, might drop things, might miss targets because your motor systems, your cerebellum, your coordination centers are still affected, still impaired by sleep inertia, still not fully online, still operating at reduced capacity. You're not fully functional, not fully awake, not fully capable for a period after waking from deep sleep. This impairment is real, is measurable, is dangerous. Studies document this, measure this, quantify this. People woken from deep sleep show profound impairment on tests, on tasks, on measures of cognitive function, physical performance, reaction, time, all severely degraded for minutes, for tens of minutes, sometimes for hours. After waking from deep sleep, the impairment is objective, is documented, is real, not imagined, not exaggerated, not minor, but significant, substantial, dangerous. This is why long naps are not recommended, not beneficial, not worth the temporary escape into sleep, because waking is so unpleasant, so impairing, so counterproductive. You nap, hoping to feel better, hoping to be refreshed, hoping to be restored, but you wake, feeling worse, feeling impaired, feeling terrible, for an extended period during which you're less functional than before. The nap backfired, created problems instead of solutions, made things worse instead of better. And the impairment passes eventually. Sleep inertia dissipates gradually. Your brain fully wakes, fully transitions, fully comes online. After 15 minutes, after 30 minutes, after an hour, depends on how deep the sleep was, how long the nap was, how abrupt the waking was. But it does pass, does resolve, does end, and then you're fine, you're normal, you're functional again. But that period, that time of impairment was wasted, was problematic, was potentially dangerous, could have been avoided by not napping long, by keeping naps brief, by avoiding deep sleep. Additionally, long naps reduce sleep pressure, significantly reduce adenosine levels, your sleep drive. For tonight, you napped for an hour, 90 minutes. You got sleep, real sleep, deep sleep. This reduced the pressure, the drive, the need for sleep tonight at bedtime. Falling asleep will be harder, will take longer, will feel difficult because your brain got some rest, got some sleep during the day, now needs less, at night has less pressure, less drive, less biological imperative to sleep at normal time. The adenosine was cleared during the long nap, during the deep sleep that occurred during that extended rest period. Your brain cleared adenosine, reduced levels, reduced pressure, reduced drive. This is normal. This is what happens during sleep, during any sleep, including naps. The longer the sleep, the deeper the sleep, the more adenosine is cleared, the more pressure is released, the more drive is reduced. This is biological, automatic, inevitable. So, by evening, by nighttime, by bedtime, your adenosine hasn't rebuilt, hasn't accumulated enough to create. Strong pressure, strong drive, strong need for sleep. You're not sleepy enough, not tired enough, not driven enough to sleep at your normal time. Your normal bedtime, falling asleep, is difficult, is delayed, is problematic. You lie in bed, wide awake, not tired, not sleepy, frustrated, confused. Why can't I sleep? Why am I awake? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. You just napped too long, cleared too much, adenosine, reduced too much, sleep pressure, and now you can't sleep when you should, when you want to, when you need to. This creates a vicious cycle, a self-perpetuating problem, a feedback loop that gets worse, not better. You didn't sleep well last night, so you're tired today. So you nap today, long nap, because you're so tired. The nap feels necessary, feels essential, feels like you must have it. So you sleep long, deep, you clear adenosine, you reduce pressure, and tonight you can't sleep, can't fall asleep at normal time. Sleep is delayed, is light, is poor. So tomorrow, you're tired again, need to nap again, long, again, clearing adenosine, again, preventing tonight's sleep, round and round, day after day, night after night, never sleeping well at night, always napping during day, always tired, always struggling, because the pattern sustains itself, perpetuates itself, gets worse, not better. The nap that seemed helpful, that seemed necessary, that seemed essential, is actually causing the problem, is creating the insomnia, is preventing the nighttime sleep that you really need. The nap is the enemy, not the solution, is making things worse, not better, is perpetuating the problem, not solving it, but it feels necessary, feels essential, because you're so tired from not sleeping well at night, which is caused by the napping during day. The cycle feeds itself, maintains itself, traps you in pattern of poor sleep. Breaking this cycle requires sacrifice, requires suffering, requires discipline, requires commitment. To change, you must stop napping, stop the long naps, stop clearing adenosine during day. Let it build, let it accumulate, let pressure grow throughout the day, so by night, by bedtime, the pressure is high, is strong, is compelling, makes sleep easy, makes sleep strong, makes sleep happen at normal time with normal ease. This means suffering temporarily. Today you'll be tired, be exhausted, be struggling to stay awake, to function, to get through the day without that nap, without that relief, without that escape. It will be hard, uncomfortable, unpleasant. You'll want to nap, will crave the nap, will think about napping all afternoon. Resisting will require willpower, discipline, commitment to the goal of fixing nighttime sleep, of breaking the cycle, of restoring normal pattern. But tonight will be different. Tonight you'll be tired, genuinely tired, appropriately tired, sufficiently tired. At bedtime, the adenosine will be high, the pressure will be strong, falling asleep will be easy, will be quick, will be natural. You'll sleep deeply, sleep long, sleep well, because your body needs it, demands it, your sleep. Pressure is high enough, strong enough, compelling enough to create good sleep, real sleep, consolidated, restorative, nighttime sleep. And tomorrow you'll wake more rested, less tired, less needy. Of napping, the nighttime sleep was better, was deeper, was more restorative, provided more recovery, more restoration. You're less depleted, less exhausted, less desperate for daytime sleep. Maybe you still want to nap, but less urgently, less desperately. You can resist more easily, or you can nap briefly, 20 minutes. Just a power nap, not a long, deep, pressure reducing, sleep disrupting nap. Just a brief boost that doesn't interfere with tonight. And if you nap briefly or skip napping tonight, again, will be good. Sleep will come easily, will be deep, will be restorative, and tomorrow will be better still, gradually, day by day, night by night. Your sleep improves, consolidates, normalizes, becomes strong, again, becomes reliable, again, becomes what it should be, long, deep, consolidated, at night, where it belongs, no longer needing daytime naps, no longer fragmenting across day and night, but concentrated, consolidated at night in one long block of restorative, essential sleep. The key, the solution, the answer is recognizing the problem, understanding that long naps are not helping, are hurting, are causing the very problem they seem to solve. The tiredness that drives napping is caused by poor nighttime sleep, which is caused by the napping. Break the cycle, endure the temporary discomfort, resist the urge to nap long, either skip napping or keep naps brief, 20 minutes maximum with alarm. This allows sleep pressure to build, allows adenosine to accumulate, allows nighttime sleep to happen naturally, strongly, deeply, as it should. The science is clear. The mechanisms are understood. The solution is known. Brief naps, 20 to 30 minutes, provide benefit without cost. Longer naps create problems, create sleep inertia, create reduced sleep pressure, create nighttime sleep difficulties, create vicious cycles that perpetuate poor sleep. The choice is yours. The pattern is yours. The decision is yours. Choose wisely, choose briefly, choose in service of nighttime sleep. The most important sleep, the sleep that truly sustains your health, your function, your life. This creates a vicious cycle, a self-perpetuating problem. You didn't sleep well last night, so you nap today. The nap, long nap, reduces pressure for tonight. So tonight, you don't sleep well again. So tomorrow, you nap again, long again, again reducing. Tomorrow night's sleep pressure, and so on. Round and round, never sleeping well at night, always napping, during the day, always tired, always struggling, because the naps are undermining nighttime sleep. Breaking this cycle requires sacrifice, requires suffering, temporarily, skip the nap or shorten it drastically to 20 minutes, set alarm, force waking before deep sleep. Yes, you'll be more tired today, this afternoon, this evening, but tonight's sleep will be better, will be easier, will happen at normal time, with normal ease, with sufficient pressure, sufficient drive, sufficient need. And tomorrow you'll wake, more rested, less need for napping, breaking the cycle, restoring normal pattern, normal sleep at night where it belongs. For most people, the recommendation is clear. Either avoid naps entirely or keep them. Very short, 20 minutes, maximum 30 minutes. Set alarm. Don't trust yourself to wake. Naturally, you won't. You'll sleep longer, into deep sleep, into problems. Set alarm. Wake when it rings, immediately. Don't snooze, don't delay. Wake, get up, move, activate. This preserves nighttime sleep, maintains sleep pressure, allows brief recovery, brief boost, without undermining tonight's rest. But some people do better with longer naps. Some cultures have longer naps built in, siestas, afternoon rest, 1 to 2 hours. This is traditional, cultural, normalized for people in these cultures, for people. With this pattern, it works, can work. If it doesn't, prevent nighttime sleep. If nighttime sleep remains adequate, remains normal, remains consolidated, then the nap, the siesta, is fine, is compatible with good sleep overall. Some people are biphasic. Naturally, their biology prefers 2 sleep periods, night sleep plus afternoon nap. If this is you, if this works, If nighttime sleep is good and you nap successfully without problems, then continue. This is your pattern, your preference, your biology. Sleep is individual. Patterns vary. What matters is total sleep, total quality, total restoration. How you distribute can vary, can flex, can differ between individuals, between cultures. The key is assessment. Honest assessment. Does napping help you or hurt you? Does it improve your function, your mood, your life without impairing nighttime sleep? Then it helps. Keep doing it, or does it impair nighttime sleep, create grogginess, make things worse? Then it hurts. Stop doing it, or change it, shorten it, adjust it to work better for you, for your sleep, for your life. Context matters too. Occasional naps, when needed, when particularly tired, when sleep deprived, when ill, these are fine, are appropriate, are recovery, not a pattern, not routine, just response to immediate need, to acute situation. These naps don't create long-term problems, don't establish harmful patterns, just provide needed rest, needed recovery. When circumstances demand, when body needs, extra rest, extra sleep, temporary, situational, appropriate. But daily napping, routine napping, habitual napping, this suggests a problem, suggests insufficient nighttime sleep, suggests poor sleep quality. At night, that requires daytime compensation. This pattern needs addressing, needs investigation, not acceptance. Find out why nighttime sleep is inadequate, is insufficient, is poor quality. Fix that. Fix nighttime sleep, then naps become unnecessary, become optional, become occasional, rather than essential, rather than required, rather than daily necessity. The biology is clear. Humans are primarily monophasic, one main sleep period per day, nocturnal at night, long consolidated sleep, 7 to 9 hours in one block. This is optimal, this is preferred, this provides best restoration, best function, best health. Napping can supplement, can enhance, can provide additional benefit when done correctly, briefly, or can undermine, can disrupt, can harm when done incorrectly. Too long, too routinely, the choice, the pattern, the approach matters, determines whether naps help or hurt your sleep, your health, your life. Sleep disorders are common, more common than most people realize. Insomnia is the most prevalent, difficulty falling asleep, difficulty staying asleep, waking too early, not feeling rested despite spending time in bed. Chronic insomnia affects about 10% of adults, causes significant impairment, significant suffering. Many factors contribute: stress, anxiety, depression, medical conditions, medications, poor sleep habits. Insomnia can be treated with therapy, with medication, with sleep restriction, with cognitive behavioral therapy designed specifically for insomnia. If you consistently struggle to sleep, if this struggle affects your daytime function, seek help. Talk to a doctor. See a sleep specialist. Don't just suffer. Don't just accept it. Treatment exists. Help is available. Sleep apnea is another common disorder. Breathing stops repeatedly during sleep, for seconds, sometimes a minute, then breathing resumes, often with a gasp, a snort, a choking sound. The person usually doesn't remember, doesn't realize it's happening, but the sleep is severely disrupted, fragmented, never reaching deep stages, never providing proper rest. Sleep apnea causes extreme daytime sleepiness, causes morning headaches, causes mood problems, causes cognitive impairment, and increases risks. Cardiovascular disease, stroke, accidents. It can be treated with CPAP machines, with oral appliances, with weight loss, with surgery, but it must be diagnosed first. If you snore loudly, if you gasp or choke during sleep, if you're exhausted despite spending enough time in bed, get evaluated, get tested. Sleep apnea is serious, but treatable. The word apnea means without breath, without breathing, a cessation, a stop, a pause. In sleep apnea, this happens repeatedly, not once, not occasionally, but dozens of times, sometimes hundreds of times, every single night, every sleep period, every rest attempt. Each event is called an apnea episode, an obstructive event, a breathing cessation, and each one disrupts sleep, fragments rest, prevents the deep restorative sleep your body requires, your brain demands, your health depends on. There are different types of sleep apnea. Obstructive sleep apnea is the most common, the most prevalent, the type most people experience. In obstructive sleep apnea, the airway collapses, physically closes, blocks. The soft tissues in your throat, your tongue, your soft palate, your uvula, these tissues relax during sleep, relax too much, fall backward, block the airway, prevent air from flowing, prevent breathing from continuing. You try to breathe, your chest moves, your diaphragm contracts, your body attempts to pull in air, but nothing comes. No air enters, no oxygen arrives, because the airway is blocked, physically obstructed, completely closed. This obstruction continues for seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, sometimes 30, sometimes a full minute. Your oxygen level drops, falls, decreases. Your carbon dioxide level rises, builds, accumulates. Your blood chemistry changes, becomes more acidic, more abnormal. Your body detects this, recognizes the problem, recognizes the danger, and responds, triggers an arousal, a partial awakening, a brief emergence from sleep, just enough, just barely enough, to restore muscle tone, to open the airway, to allow breathing to resume. And breathing does resume, suddenly, forcefully, often with that gasp, that snort, that choking sound, air rushing in, oxygen flooding back, your body recovering, your blood chemistry normalizing, your oxygen level rising back toward normal. But the arousal has disrupted your sleep, has fragmented your rest, has prevented deep sleep, has kept you in lighter stages, and then, once breathing normalizes, once the crisis passes, you drift back down, back toward deeper sleep, and the whole cycle repeats. The muscles relax again, the airway collapses again, breathing stops again, another apnea, another obstruction, another arousal, over and over, all night long, night after night, week after week, year after year. You don't remember these events, these arousals, these breathing stoppages. You're not conscious during them, not aware, not awake enough to form memories. In the morning, you might remember sleeping through the night, might think you slept fine, might have no awareness that anything went wrong. But your body knows, your brain knows, your physiology knows, because the sleep was terrible, fragmented, insufficient, never reaching the deep stages, never providing proper restoration, never giving your brain, your body, your entire system what it needs. The consequences are severe, immediate consequences, and long-term consequences. The immediate consequence is sleepiness, extreme sleepiness, overwhelming sleepiness, despite spending 8 hours in bed, despite lying down all night, despite appearing to sleep. You wake exhausted, tired, unrefreshed, like you never slept at all, because in a way, you didn't. Not properly, not deeply, not restoratively. The sleep you got was fragmented, disrupted, insufficient, unable to provide what sleep should provide, what your body needs, what your brain requires. This sleepiness isn't normal tiredness, isn't the mild fatigue everyone experiences sometimes. This is profound sleepiness, overwhelming sleepiness, the kind that makes you fall asleep sitting up, fall asleep in meetings, fall asleep watching television, fall asleep reading, fall asleep driving. This last one is particularly dangerous, particularly deadly. People with untreated sleep apnea have car accidents, fall asleep at the wheel, drift off the road, crash, injure themselves, injure others, kill themselves, kill others, because they cannot stay awake, cannot fight the overwhelming sleepiness, cannot resist the brain's desperate need for the sleep it's not getting at night. Morning headaches are common, very common. You wake with a headache, a dull headache, a pressure headache, often behind your eyes, often in your forehead, often across your whole head. This happens because of the oxygen drops. The carbon dioxide buildup, the blood vessel changes, the physiological stress of repeated breathing cessations, repeated oxygen desaturations, repeated carbon dioxide accumulations, all night long, your brain experiencing these insults, these stresses, these abnormalities, repeatedly, continuously, and in the morning, you wake with a headache, a sleep apnea headache, that often improves through the morning as your body recovers, as your blood gases normalize, as the night's damage begins to heal. Mood problems develop, depression, anxiety, irritability, mood swings, all more common in untreated sleep apnea because sleep deprivation affects mood profoundly, severely, and sleep apnea creates chronic sleep deprivation, chronic fragmented sleep, chronic insufficient rest. Your emotional regulation suffers, your stress tolerance decreases, your resilience weakens, you become irritable, short-tempered, easily frustrated, quick to anger, slow to calm, or you become depressed, low, hopeless, unable to feel pleasure, unable to find motivation, unable to see the positive. Both patterns are common, both patterns are consequences of the chronic sleep disruption, the chronic oxygen deprivation, the chronic physiological stress that untreated sleep apnea creates. Cognitive impairment occurs, memory problems, concentration difficulties, attention deficits, slowed thinking, impaired judgment, reduced problem solving, all consequences of insufficient sleep, of fragmented sleep, of sleep that never reaches deep stages, never allows proper memory consolidation, never provides proper brain restoration. Your brain cannot function properly, cannot think clearly, cannot remember effectively, cannot process efficiently, because it's not getting the sleep it needs, the deep sleep, the restorative sleep, the sleep that's being prevented by the apnea, by the breathing stoppations, by the constant arousals. The long-term consequences are more serious, more dangerous, more life-threatening. Sleep apnea increases cardiovascular disease risk significantly, dramatically. People with untreated sleep apnea have more heart attacks, more heart failure, more atrial fibrillation, more arrhythmias, more cardiovascular problems of all kinds, because the repeated oxygen drops stress the heart, stress the blood vessels, activate stress hormones, increase inflammation, raise blood pressure, damage the cardiovascular system, night after night, year after year, decade after decade. The cumulative damage is enormous. The health impact is profound. The risk increase is substantial. High blood pressure is nearly universal. In untreated sleep apnea, the repeated arousals, the repeated oxygen drops, the repeated stress responses, all raise blood pressure acutely during the events, chronically over time. Your blood pressure goes up, stays up, becomes harder to control, even with medication, even with lifestyle changes, because the underlying cause, the sleep apnea, continues disrupting sleep, continues causing oxygen drops, continues stressing the cardiovascular system, continues raising blood pressure. The only solution is treating the apnea, treating the breathing disorder, treating the underlying problem. Stroke risk increases substantially, significantly. People with untreated sleep apnea have more strokes, both ischemic strokes, from blood clots, from blocked arteries, and hemorrhagic strokes, from bleeding, from ruptured vessels. The mechanisms are multiple. The oxygen drops damage blood vessels. The blood pressure elevation stresses arteries. The inflammation promotes clot formation. The arrhythmias increase embolic risk, all of it combining, all of it accumulating, all of it increasing stroke risk, making stroke more likely, making stroke more common, making stroke a real danger for people with untreated sleep apnea. Diabetes risk increases, type 2 diabetes, metabolic dysfunction, insulin resistance, all more common, all more likely, in people with untreated sleep apnea. The mechanisms are complex, but clear. Sleep deprivation impairs glucose metabolism, increases insulin resistance, disrupts hormonal regulation, and sleep apnea creates chronic sleep deprivation, chronic fragmented sleep, chronic insufficient rest. Additionally, the oxygen drops themselves, the repeated hypoxic events. These directly affect metabolism, affect insulin sensitivity, affect glucose processing, making diabetes more likely, making blood sugar control harder, making metabolic problems more common. Weight gain is common, very common, in untreated sleep apnea. This creates a vicious cycle, a self-perpetuating problem, because excess weight causes sleep apnea, or worsens it. The extra tissue in the neck, in the throat, narrows the airway, makes obstruction more likely, makes apnea more severe. But sleep apnea also causes weight gain through multiple mechanisms. The sleep deprivation affects hormones, increases hunger, decreases satiety, promotes overeating. The fatigue reduces activity, reduces exercise, reduces calorie expenditure. The metabolic changes promote fat storage, promote weight retention, promote obesity. So sleep apnea causes weight gain, and weight gain worsens sleep apnea, round and round, getting worse unless interrupted, unless treated. The diagnosis requires testing, sleep testing, polysomnography. This can be done in a sleep lab, in a sleep center, where you spend the night, connected to monitors, to sensors, to equipment. That measures everything: brainwaves, eye movements, muscle tension, heart rate, breathing effort, airflow, oxygen levels, everything needed to diagnose sleep apnea, to count the apneas, to measure the severity, to determine the treatment, or testing can be done at home, with home sleep testing, a simpler device, fewer sensors, measuring breathing, measuring oxygen, measuring enough to diagnose sleep apnea, to determine severity, to guide treatment. Home sleep testing is more convenient, more comfortable, less expensive, but less comprehensive, less detailed, less able to diagnose other sleep disorders. The choice depends on your situation, your symptoms, your doctor's assessment, but either way, testing is necessary. Diagnosis is essential before treatment can begin. The severity is measured by the apnea-hypopnea index, the AHI. This counts apneas, complete breathing stoppages, and hypopneas, partial reductions in breathing, per hour of sleep. 5 to 15 per hour is mild, 15 to 30 is moderate, over 30 is severe. Some people have hundreds per hour, severe, dangerous, life-threatening, requiring immediate treatment, urgent intervention to prevent complications, to protect health, to potentially save life. Shift work destroys sleep. Working nights, rotating shifts, any schedule that requires being awake when your biology wants sleep, and sleeping when your biology wants wakefulness. This creates chronic circadian disruption, constant jet lag. Your clock never adjusts fully, never synchronizes, because you encounter daylight at the wrong times, because you're trying to sleep when the sun is up, trying to stay awake when your clock says sleep. Shift workers have higher rates of everything bad, more accidents, more errors, more health problems, more cardiovascular disease, more metabolic disorders, more cancer, more mental health problems. The disruption to circadian rhythms has profound consequences, pervasive consequences, life-shortening consequences. If you must work shifts, some strategies help. Minimize rotation. Stay on one shift as long as possible. Let your clock adjust as much as it can. If you must rotate, rotate forward. Days to evenings to nights. Never backward. Forward rotation is easier, more natural. Use bright light during your work time. Stay in dim light before your sleep time. Control light exposure as much as possible to help your clock adjust. Use blackout curtains. Use eye masks. Make your sleep environment as dark as possible. Use earplugs. Use white noise. Block out the daytime sounds that interfere with daytime sleep. Prioritize sleep. Protect sleep. Guard those hours fiercely. They're working against your biology. They need every advantage you can provide. Sleep is not uniform across the night. The first part of the night is dominated by deep sleep. This is when the most restorative processes occur, when growth hormone releases, when immune function peaks, when physical repair happens. The second part of the night has more REM sleep. This is when the most intense dreaming occurs, when emotional processing happens, when memory consolidation peaks. Both parts are necessary. Both parts serve crucial functions. Cutting sleep short from either end creates specific deficits. Going to bed too late cuts deep sleep. Not enough physical restoration. Waking too early cuts REM sleep. Not enough emotional processing. Not enough memory consolidation. You need both ends. You need the full night. You need all the cycles, all the stages, all the restoration that each phase provides. Sleeping in on weekends doesn't fully compensate for weekday sleep deprivation. You can reduce the debt slightly, can recover some, but you can't fully make up for chronic insufficient sleep with weekend sleeping. The debt is too large, the deficit too deep, and the irregular schedule creates its own problems, creates social jet lag, disrupts your rhythm, makes Monday harder. Better to sleep consistently, every night, enough every night, than to run a deficit and try to catch up. Consistency provides better results, better function, better health than the sleep-deprived weekday, oversleeping weekend pattern that many people follow. You cannot bank sleep, cannot sleep extra in preparation for sleep deprivation. Some studies show minor benefit from a few nights of extended sleep before planned deprivation, but the benefit is small, limited. You're better off maintaining regular, sufficient sleep, not trying to store it up, not trying to prepare for going without. Sleep is a nightly need, a daily requirement. That needs to be met consistently, regularly, every night. Not stockpiled, not rationed, not saved for later or borrowed from tomorrow. Sleep is not time wasted. This needs to be said explicitly, needs to be understood clearly. Sleep is not laziness, not indulgence, not something to minimize, to cut, to sacrifice for productivity. Sleep is productive. Sleep enables everything else. Every waking activity, every accomplishment, every capability depends on adequate sleep. You cannot think clearly when sleep deprived, cannot learn effectively, cannot perform well, cannot regulate emotions, cannot maintain health. Sacrificing sleep to gain time is counterproductive, makes you less effective during the time you're awake, makes you slower, less creative, less capable, less productive. The most productive thing you can do is sleep enough. Get 7 to 9 hours every night, consistently. This maximizes your waking performance, maximizes your cognitive function, maximizes your physical capability, maximizes your emotional regulation, maximizes your health, makes every waking hour more valuable, more effective, more successful. Sleep is the foundation, the prerequisite, the enabling factor for everything else you want to do, want to achieve, want to experience. You're lying here now, in bed, listening, learning, drifting toward sleep, toward the very state we've been discussing. And your body knows what to do. Your brain knows the process, the stages, the cycles, the restoration that will occur. You don't have to think about it, don't have to control it, don't have to manage it. Just let go, just release, just allow. Allow your body to do what it's designed to do, what it needs to do, what it does every night, automatically, naturally, perfectly. Your brain is already beginning the transition, already releasing melatonin, already slowing your thoughts, already preparing for sleep. Your muscles are relaxing, releasing tension, softening, settling into stillness. Your breathing is slowing, deepening, becoming more rhythmic, more regular. All the signs, all the signals, all the preparations for sleep, for rest, for the restorative hours ahead. And in a little while, you'll drift off. You'll cross that threshold from waking to sleeping, from consciousness to unconsciousness, and you won't notice, won't remember the moment. You'll just slip away, gently, gradually, peacefully, into sleep, into dreams, into rest, into the necessary, essential, beautiful state of sleeping. Your brain will cycle through the stages, light sleep first, then deep sleep, then REM, then back to light, then deep again, then REM again, 4 or 5 or 6 cycles, all night long, each one doing its work, each one providing its benefit, each one contributing to your restoration, your recovery, your preparation for tomorrow. Deep sleep will release growth hormone, will clear waste from your brain, will strengthen your immune system, will repair your tissues. REM sleep will process your emotions, will consolidate your memories, will integrate your learning, will work through your concerns, all of it happening, all of it automatic, all of it while you're completely unaware, completely unconscious, completely asleep. You'll wake tomorrow, naturally, when you've had enough, when the cycle's complete, when the restoration finishes, and you'll feel different, better, refreshed, clearer, stronger, more capable, because sleep will have done its work, will have provided what you need, what your brain needs, what your body needs, what your entire system requires to function, to thrive, to be you at your best. This happens every night, has happened thousands of nights, will happen thousands more. As long as you live, as long as you breathe, as long as you exist, you'll sleep, will need to sleep, will continue this nightly rhythm, this daily cycle, this fundamental pattern of human life, waking and sleeping, activity and rest, consciousness and unconsciousness, moving and still, alert and dreaming, thinking and processing, all of it necessary, all of it essential, all of it part of being alive, being human, being you. So rest now, let go now, trust your body, trust your brain, trust the process that's kept you alive, kept you functional, kept you you for your entire life, through every night, through every sleep, through every dream. Your body knows, your brain knows, evolution knows, billions of years of life, millions of years of animal sleep, hundreds of thousands of years of human sleep, all of that wisdom, all of that knowledge, all of that design built into you, operating in you, sustaining you. Sleep is not a void, not an absence, not nothing. Sleep is something. Sleep is process. Sleep is activity, essential activity, life preserving activity, health maintaining activity, happening beneath consciousness, happening without awareness, happening perfectly, automatically, exactly as it should. Your brain shrinking its cells, expanding the spaces, flushing away the waste, clearing the toxins, cleaning itself, restoring itself, preparing itself for tomorrow. Your body releasing hormones, repairing tissues, strengthening immunity, balancing systems, healing damage, restoring resources. Your mind processing experiences, consolidating memories, integrating learning, working through emotions, solving problems, making connections. All of this incredible complexity, all of this essential activity happens while you sleep, while you rest, while you dream, while you're completely unconscious, completely unaware, your brain and body taking care of you, maintaining you, sustaining you, keeping you alive, keeping you healthy, keeping you functional, without any effort from your conscious mind, without any deliberate control, without any awareness at all, just happening, just working, just doing what needs to be done. This is the gift of sleep, the miracle of sleep, that you can let go, can release control, can drift into unconsciousness, and trust completely that your body will continue, that your brain will work, that essential processes will occur, that you'll be maintained, sustained, cared for, through the night, through the darkness, through the hours of unconsciousness, and you'll wake, you'll return, you'll come back, restored, refreshed, ready, ready for another day, ready for more experience, ready for more life. Every night this happens. Every night you trust this. Every night you let go. Let yourself fall. Let yourself drift into that unconscious state, that vulnerable state, that mysterious state. And every night your body proves trustworthy, proves reliable, proves worthy of that trust. You release control, you surrender awareness, and your biology takes over, does its work, completes its cycles, provides its restoration, then returns you, returns your consciousness, returns your awareness in the morning, at dawn, when it's time, when the work is complete, when you've had what you need. You're safe doing this, safe letting go, safe drifting away. Your body will keep breathing, your heart will keep beating, your brain will keep functioning. All the automatic processes, all the unconscious systems, all the built-in programming will continue, will maintain, will sustain. You don't have to monitor, don't have to control, don't have to stay aware. You can let go completely, can surrender fully, can trust absolutely that your body knows, that your brain knows, that everything will continue, everything will work, everything will be okay. Sleep is natural. Sleep is ancient. Sleep is universal. Every human sleeps, always has, always will. Your ancestors slept every night for thousands of generations, hundreds of thousands of years, millions of nights, billions of sleeps, all successful, all restorative, all safe. This is your inheritance, your evolutionary heritage, your biological birthright, the ability to sleep, the need to sleep, the benefits of sleep, all built into you, all part of you, all working for you. So let it work now. Let it happen now. Let yourself drift now into sleep, into rest, into the state your body needs, the state your brain requires, the state that will restore you, refresh you, prepare you for tomorrow, for waking, for living. Let the process begin. Let the stages unfold. Let the cycles commence. Let sleep take you, hold you, carry you through the night, through the darkness, through these hours of essential rest. Your breathing is slow, deep, regular. Your body is still, relaxed, heavy. Your mind is quiet, drifting, fading. The transition is happening, has been happening, continues to happen, from waking to sleeping, from consciousness to unconsciousness, from thinking to dreaming, from alertness to rest. You're crossing over, crossing that invisible line, that unmarked boundary between states, between modes, between waking and sleeping, and soon you won't hear these words, won't follow these thoughts, won't process this information, because you'll be asleep, actually asleep, truly unconscious, gone into that other state, that necessary state, that restorative state. And that's good, that's right, that's exactly what should happen, what needs to happen, what's happening now. Sleep is coming, sleep is near, sleep is here, taking you gently, gradually, naturally, into rest, into dreams, into unconsciousness, into the essential, mysterious, beautiful state of sleep. Let it come. Let it take you. Let yourself go into sleep, into rest, into peace, into the darkness, into the quiet, into the stillness, where your body works, where your brain restores, where healing happens, where memories consolidate, where emotions process, where restoration occurs, all of it, all the essential processes, all the necessary work, happening in sleep, happening through sleep, happening because of sleep. You're being sustained right now. Through sleep, your existence continues, your life persists, you remain you, through these hours, through this night, through this sleep, being maintained, being restored, being prepared for tomorrow, for waking, for living. Your brain is working, your body is healing, your systems are balancing, your resources are replenishing, all of it happening, all of it continuous, all of it sustaining you through sleep, through rest, through this essential nightly process. This sustaining is not metaphor, not poetry, not abstract concept. This is literal, physical, real, happening right now in your body, in your brain, in every cell, in every system, in every process that keeps you alive, keeps you functioning, keeps you you. The sustaining is actual, measurable, observable. If scientists looked at your brain right now, they would see it, would measure it, would document the processes, the activity, the work being done while you rest, while you sleep, while you drift into unconsciousness. Your brain cells are shrinking right now, pulling apart, creating space, space between neurons, space between support cells, space that fills with cerebrospinal fluid, that clear liquid surrounding your brain, and this fluid is moving, flowing, rushing through the expanded channels, through the spaces that opened, carrying waste, carrying toxins, carrying the accumulated debris of the day, beta amyloid proteins, tau proteins, metabolic waste products, cellular debris, everything that built up during your waking hours, during your thinking, your working, your living, all of it being flushed away, carried away, removed right now, while you sleep, while you rest, while you're completely unaware. This is the glymphatic system, your brain's cleaning mechanism, its waste removal process, operating primarily during sleep, primarily during rest, when your brain can afford to shrink its cells, can afford to expand the spaces, can afford to prioritize cleaning over processing, overthinking, over responding. In waking hours, your brain is too busy, too active, too engaged. The cells stay expanded, the spaces stay narrow, the waste accumulates, builds up, waits for sleep, waits for rest, waits for this moment, this nightly cleaning, this essential maintenance. Without this cleaning, the waste would accumulate, would build up, would reach toxic levels, would damage neurons, would impair function, would eventually kill cells. This is what happens in sleep deprivation, chronic lack of sleep. The cleaning never completes, never finishes. The waste keeps accumulating, keeps building, keeps damaging, until function deteriorates, until health declines, until serious problems emerge. But you're sleeping now, resting now, allowing the cleaning now. The waste is being removed, the toxins are being cleared, your brain is being restored, protected, maintained. Through sleep, through this essential process, through this nightly cleaning that keeps you healthy, keeps you functional, keeps you alive. Your body is releasing hormones. Right now, growth hormone, flooding from your pituitary gland, released primarily during deep sleep, during the slow wave sleep you're entering or will enter. Soon, very soon, this hormone travels through your bloodstream, reaches every tissue, every organ, every cell, signaling repair, signaling growth, signaling restoration. Your muscles receive this signal, begin repairing, rebuilding the tiny tears from today's movements, today's activities, making them stronger, more capable, ready for tomorrow. Your bones receive this signal, continue their constant remodeling, removing old bone, building new bone, maintaining strength, maintaining structure. Your skin receives this signal, accelerates its renewal, its healing, repairs damage from sun, from stress, from aging, produces new cells, fresh cells, healthy cells. This happens every night, has happened every night of your life, will happen tonight, is happening now, or will be. Soon, when you reach that deep sleep, that essential stage, where growth hormone peaks, where restoration maximizes, where your body does its most intensive repair. You don't have to think about it, don't have to direct it, don't have to manage it. Just sleep, just rest, just allow. Allow your body to do what it's designed to do, what it needs to do, what it does automatically, perfectly, every night. Your immune system is strengthening right now, producing more immune cells, more T cells, more natural killer cells, more antibodies, more of everything that protects you, fights infection, destroys pathogens, eliminates threats. Sleep enhances immune function significantly, measurably. People who sleep well get sick less often, recover faster, show stronger immune responses. Their bodies produce more immune cells during sleep, more proteins that fight infection, more signals that coordinate defense, all of it happening, all of it automatic, all of it protecting you, preparing you, strengthening you against illness, against infection, against disease. If you're fighting something now, a cold, a virus, an infection, your immune system is working harder, working intensively while you sleep, while you rest, producing more of what it needs, deploying more resources, attacking more aggressively. This is why you feel so tired when you're sick, why your body demands sleep, demands rest, because sleep is when healing happens, when fighting happens, when your immune system can work at full capacity, can dedicate full resources, can focus completely on defeating whatever threatens you. So if you're sick, this sleep is medicine, is treatment, is exactly what you need, what your body needs, what will help you recover, heal, return to health. Your cardiovascular system is resting, your heart rate has slowed, dropped from its daytime pace, your blood pressure has decreased, dropped from its waking levels. This is essential, this nightly rest, this reduction in demand. Your heart works constantly, every moment, every day, every year, decades of continuous beating, continuous pumping, continuous work. It needs this rest, these hours of reduced demand, reduced pressure, reduced work, to recover, to restore, to maintain itself. People who don't sleep enough show higher blood pressure, even during the day, even when awake, because their cardiovascular system never gets adequate rest, never gets sufficient recovery, never gets this nightly restoration that keeps it healthy, keeps it strong, keeps it functioning for decades. Your blood vessels are repairing, right now, their inner linings, the endothelial cells, damaged during the day by stress, by inflammation, by the normal wear of blood flow. These cells are regenerating, healing, restoring their function, restoring their flexibility, restoring their ability to regulate blood flow, to prevent clots, to maintain health. This happens during sleep, enhanced during sleep, optimized during sleep. Your entire cardiovascular system using these hours, these restful hours, to maintain itself, repair itself, prepare itself for tomorrow. Your hormones are balancing right now. Cortisol is dropping, that stress hormone, elevated during the day, during activity, during stress, now falling, declining, reaching its lowest levels. In these nighttime hours, in these restful hours, this drop is essential, necessary, healthy. Cortisol is useful, necessary, but only in appropriate amounts. Appropriate timing. Too much cortisol, chronic elevation, causes damage, impairs immune function, disrupts metabolism, promotes inflammation, damages health. Sleep allows cortisol to drop, to normalize, to reset, ready to rise again tomorrow, when you need it, when activity demands it. But for now, for these hours, cortisol falls, stress hormones decline. Your body rests from that state, that aroused state, that activated state. Other hormones are rising. Leptin, the satiety hormone, that tells you you're full, that regulates appetite, that prevents overeating. Leptin rises during sleep, falls during sleep deprivation. This is why tired people overeat, feel hungrier, crave more food, especially high-calorie food, especially sugar, especially fat. Their leptin is low, their satiety signals are weak, their appetite is dysregulated. But when you sleep enough, sleep well, leptin rises, appetite normalizes, eating regulates, weight maintains more easily, health improves, all because sleep restores hormonal balance, restores regulation, restores the signals that control eating, control metabolism, control energy balance. Ghrelin is falling, the hunger hormone. That makes you want to eat, that drives appetite, that signals emptiness. Ghrelin should be low at night, low during sleep, low during rest, but sleep deprivation raises it, keeps it elevated, keeps you feeling hungry, keeps you wanting food, even when your body doesn't need it, even when you've eaten enough, even when additional calories are harmful. Sleep allows ghrelin to fall, to normalize, to stop signaling hunger when hunger isn't needed. This hormonal balance, this regulation, happens during sleep, requires sleep, depends on sleep. Your metabolism is stabilizing, your blood sugar is regulating, your insulin sensitivity is improving, all during sleep, all during rest, all during these hours of reduced demand, reduced intake, reduced processing. Your body is balancing its energy systems, restoring its metabolic flexibility, preparing for tomorrow's food, tomorrow's energy needs, tomorrow's demands. People who don't sleep enough develop insulin resistance, develop prediabetes, develop diabetes, because their metabolism cannot regulate properly, cannot maintain balance, cannot process sugar effectively. Sleep protects against this. Sleep maintains metabolic health. Sleep keeps your body able to handle energy, handle food, handle the fuel you need to live. Your memories are consolidating right now, or will be, in REM sleep, in deep sleep, in the stages that process experience, that transform temporary memories into permanent memories, that move information from hippocampus to cortex, from fragile to stable, from new to integrated. Everything you learned today, everything you experienced, everything that happened, all of it being processed, being evaluated, being integrated, your brain deciding what to keep, what to discard, what to strengthen, what to let fade, making connections, finding patterns, building understanding, creating knowledge from experience. If you learned something today, studied something, practiced something, that learning is being consolidated now, being strengthened now, being made permanent now. The neural connections are being reinforced. The synapses are being strengthened. The patterns are being stabilized. This is why sleep after learning improves performance, improves retention, improves recall, not because you're rested, but because sleep actually changes your brain, actually strengthens the memories, actually makes the learning stick. Without sleep, learning fades, weakens, disappears. With sleep, learning persists, strengthens, becomes part of you. Your emotions are being processed right now, or will be, in REM sleep, when most dreaming occurs, when emotional memories get attention, get processing, get integration. The intensity of today's emotions, today's feelings, today's reactions, all being processed, being evaluated, being integrated into your emotional history, your emotional understanding, your emotional self. Strong emotions create strong memories, but they also create arousal, create disturbance, create imbalance. Sleep processes this, reduces the emotional intensity while preserving the memory, while keeping the information, while maintaining the learning. You wake remembering what happened, but feeling less about it, less intense, less overwhelming, less disturbing. The memory remains, the lesson persists, but the emotional charge diminishes, becomes manageable, becomes integrated. This is healthy, this is normal, this is necessary. Emotions need processing, need integration, need to be experienced, acknowledged, then released. Sleep facilitates this during dreams, during REM, during the emotional processing that happens in unconsciousness. If you're stressed, if you're upset, if something difficult happened today, sleep will help, will process, will integrate, will reduce the intensity, won't erase it, won't make it disappear, but will make it more manageable, more bearable, more integrated into your life, your experience, your understanding. This is why the advice "sleep on it" works for emotional situations, for upsets, for conflicts. Sleep changes how you feel, not by forgetting, but by processing, by integrating, by finding perspective that consciousness cannot find alone. Your brain is solving problems right now, or will be, during REM sleep, during dreaming, during the creative associative thinking that happens in dreams. Problems you couldn't solve during the day, questions you couldn't answer, challenges you couldn't meet. Your unconscious brain is working on them, making connections you didn't see, trying combinations you didn't consider, exploring possibilities you dismissed, not deliberately, not consciously, but through the random, creative, unrestricted processing of dreams. Sometimes you wake with solutions, with insights, with clarity, not because you thought about it, but because you didn't, because you let your unconscious brain work. Let the dreaming mind process. Let sleep do what sleep does, create connections, generate insights, solve problems that conscious effort couldn't crack. Your muscles are relaxing, deeply relaxing, releasing all tension, all holding, all the unconscious contraction you maintain during the day. During activity, during stress, your jaw unclenches, your shoulders drop, your back releases, your legs soften, everything lets go, everything releases, everything rests. This deep muscular relaxation is part of sleep, part of rest, part of restoration. Your muscles need this, need to fully release, need to completely rest, to recover, to restore, to prepare for tomorrow's use, tomorrow's demands, tomorrow's movements. In REM sleep, your muscles become completely paralyzed, temporarily, safely, except for your eyes, your breathing muscles. Everything else stops, cannot move. This protects you, prevents you from acting out dreams, from moving, from potentially hurting yourself. This paralysis is automatic, normal, healthy. You're not aware of it, not conscious of it. It just happens. Starts when REM starts, ends when REM ends. Then you can move again, shift position, adjust your body, before the next cycle, the next stage, the next period of paralysis, all of it automatic, all of it normal, all of it part of the natural sleep process. Your breathing has changed, slowed, deepened, become more regular, more rhythmic. The automatic breathing of sleep, not the varied breathing of waking, not the talking breathing, the thinking breathing, the responsive breathing, just simple, regular, rhythmic breathing, in and out, automatic, unconscious, your brainstem controlling it, without any conscious input, without any deliberate effort, just breathing, just continuing, just sustaining you, providing oxygen, removing carbon dioxide, maintaining the gas exchange that keeps you alive, that keeps your brain functioning, that keeps every cell supplied with what it needs. This breathing is perfect, perfectly calibrated, perfectly regulated. Your brainstem monitors your blood, measures oxygen, measures carbon dioxide, adjusts your breathing precisely, exactly what you need. Not too much, not too little, perfect. Every breath, every cycle, every night. You never have to think about it, never have to manage it, never have to control it. It just happens, just continues, just sustains you through sleep, through unconsciousness, through these hours when consciousness has faded, when awareness has gone, when you're completely unable to deliberately breathe, but breathing continues, automatic, reliable, sustaining. Your body temperature has dropped, slightly, a degree or two. This is normal, expected, part of sleep. Your metabolism has slowed, your heat production has decreased. Your body is conserving energy, reducing expenditure, reducing demand. This cooler temperature helps sleep, maintains sleep, deepens sleep. Your body in its optimal temperature for rest, for restoration, for the night. When morning comes, your temperature will rise, will climb back, will signal waking, signal arousal, signal the return of consciousness. But for now, for these hours, your temperature stays low, stays cool, stays in the range that promotes sleep, that maintains sleep, that allows deep restoration. Your cells are repairing their DNA. Right now, every cell, constantly. DNA gets damaged during normal metabolism, during normal function, during normal life, radiation from the environment, chemicals from food, metabolic byproducts from energy production, all cause tiny damages, tiny breaks, tiny errors in your DNA, in every cell, continuously. But your cells have repair mechanisms, sophisticated systems that find damage, fix damage, restore the DNA to its correct sequence, its correct structure, its correct function. These repair mechanisms work constantly, but they work better during rest, during sleep, when the cell isn't dividing, isn't producing proteins, isn't doing all its other tasks, can dedicate more resources, more energy, more attention to repair, to maintenance, to keeping the DNA intact, keeping the instructions correct, keeping the cell functioning properly. This repair is essential, critical, prevents mutations, prevents cancer, prevents cellular dysfunction. Without adequate repair, errors accumulate, build up, cause problems, cause disease, cause aging. Sleep provides the time, the conditions, the resources for optimal DNA repair, for keeping your cells healthy, for preventing damage from becoming disease. Every night, every sleep, every rest, your cells are repairing, maintaining, protecting their DNA, protecting your health, protecting your future. Your skin is regenerating, right now, producing new cells, faster than during the day. Skin cell production peaks during sleep, during rest, during these hours when your body can dedicate resources to renewal, to restoration, to replacing old cells with new cells. This is why sleep deprivation shows on your face, shows in your skin, dark circles, dull complexion, fine lines, sagging, all signs of insufficient cellular renewal, insufficient skin regeneration. But when you sleep well, sleep enough, your skin renews, glows, looks healthier, looks younger, because the cells are regenerating properly, replacing themselves adequately, maintaining the health and appearance that adequate sleep provides. Collagen is being produced, that protein that keeps skin firm, elastic, youthful. Collagen production increases during sleep, during rest, during these hours of restoration, repairing daily damage, maintaining structure, fighting aging. People who sleep well age more slowly, show fewer wrinkles, maintain skin quality longer, not because of creams, not because of products, but because of sleep, because their bodies have the time, the resources, the conditions to produce collagen, to maintain skin, to fight the constant degradation that aging represents. Your gut is resting, sort of. Your digestive system slows, reduces activity, reduces motility, giving your intestines time to complete digestion, time to absorb nutrients, time to rest from the constant work of processing food. Your gut bacteria are working, though. Still active, still processing, still producing. Beneficial bacteria continue their metabolism, continue producing vitamins, producing short-chain fatty acids, producing compounds that benefit your health, that support your immune system, that influence your brain, your gut-brain connection active even in sleep, signaling, communicating, influencing, your gut health affecting your sleep quality affecting your gut health. A bidirectional relationship, a mutual influence, a connection that matters for both. Your liver is processing, still working, even during sleep, detoxifying, filtering blood, removing toxins, metabolizing substances, converting nutrients, storing energy, releasing energy, all its hundreds of functions, continuing, ongoing. Your liver doesn't sleep, doesn't rest, works constantly, but the load is lighter at night, with no food coming in, with reduced activity, with decreased demand. Your liver can catch up, can process accumulated substances, can restore its glycogen stores, can maintain its capacity, ready for tomorrow, ready for the next day's challenges, the next day's toxins, the next day's metabolic demands. Your kidneys are filtering, still working, still cleaning blood, still producing urine, still removing waste, but the rate has slowed, the volume has decreased. This is normal. Your body produces less urine at night, concentrates it more, so you don't have to wake, don't have to interrupt sleep, don't have to get up constantly. Your kidneys adapt, adjust their function, maintain waste removal while allowing continuous sleep, allowing continuous rest. Your antidiuretic hormone increases at night, signals the kidneys, conserve water, concentrate urine, allow sleep to continue. This hormonal regulation, this kidney adaptation allows you to sleep through the night, allows continuous rest, allows uninterrupted restoration. Everything is working, everything is continuing, everything is sustaining you while you sleep, while you rest, while you're completely unconscious, completely unaware. Your body knows what to do, has always known, has sustained you every night, every sleep, your entire life, since birth, since infancy, since the beginning of your existence. Your body has kept you alive through sleep, has maintained you, has restored you, night after night, year after year, decade after decade, successfully, reliably, perfectly. And tonight is no different. Tonight is the same processes, the same restoration, the same sustaining that has worked every single night of your life. You can trust this, can rely on this, can let go into this completely, fully, totally, because it works, because it's reliable, because it's what keeps you alive, what keeps you healthy, what keeps you, through every night, through every sleep, through every rest. Your body has never failed you in sleep, never abandoned you, never stopped sustaining you, and it won't tonight, won't ever, will continue, will persist, will maintain, as long as you live, as long as you breathe, as long as you exist. Sleep now, rest now, dream now, let go now. Let yourself drift, let yourself fade, let yourself fall into sleep, deep sleep, peaceful sleep, restorative sleep, the sleep your body needs, the sleep your brain requires, the sleep that will sustain you, maintain you, restore you through the night until morning, until you wake, until you return, refreshed, restored, ready, ready for another day, another cycle, another journey, from waking to sleeping, from consciousness to dreams, from alertness to rest. Your body knows, your brain knows, evolution knows, millions of years of sleep, of rest, of nightly restoration, built into every animal, built into every human, built into you. This knowledge, this capacity, this automatic process, that requires nothing from your conscious mind, nothing from your awareness, nothing from your control, just happens, just works, just sustains, through sleep, through rest, through unconsciousness, through these hours when you let go, when you drift away, when you trust your biology, trust your body, trust the process that has kept you alive, kept you functioning, kept you you for your entire existence. The sustaining continues right now, this moment, every second, every heartbeat, your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your brain processing, your body maintaining, all of it continuous, all of it ongoing, all of it automatic. You don't have to think about your heart, don't have to tell it to beat. It beats, has beaten every moment since before you were born, will beat every moment until you die. Billions of beats, continuously, reliably, perfectly, never stopping, never failing, never requiring your attention, just beating, just continuing, just sustaining your life, your existence, your consciousness. Your circulation continues, blood flowing through arteries, through capillaries, through veins, delivering oxygen, delivering nutrients, removing waste, removing carbon dioxide, every cell supplied, every cell serviced, every cell maintained, through this continuous circulation, this ceaseless flow that never stops, never pauses, never rests, even when you sleep, even when you rest, even when consciousness fades, your blood keeps flowing, keeps circulating, keeps sustaining every cell, every tissue, every organ, everything that makes you you. Your nervous system monitors, even in sleep, monitoring your body, monitoring your environment, monitoring for threats, for problems, for anything requiring response. Your brainstem stays alert, stays active, stays on guard, ready to wake you if needed, if danger appears, if something goes wrong, if intervention is required. But usually nothing does. Usually all is well. Usually the night passes peacefully, safely, and you sleep through, undisturbed, unaware, protected by your nervous system, by its constant monitoring, by its vigilant watch. That never sleeps, never fully rests. So you can let go completely, so you can trust completely that you'll be protected, that you'll be wakened if needed, that you're safe, safe to sleep, safe to rest, safe to drift into complete unconsciousness. The sustaining is everything, is life itself, is what separates living from dead, functioning from failed, existing from ceased. You are alive because you are being sustained, because processes continue, because systems function, because your body works automatically, continuously, perfectly. You don't have to manage this, don't have to control this, don't have to monitor this. It happens, just happens, has happened every moment of your life, will happen every moment until your life ends. This is what life is, not a state, not a possession, not a thing, but a process, an ongoing process, a continuous sustaining that requires constant work, constant energy, constant maintenance, all happening, all the time, in you, through you, for you. Or this sustaining is not abstract, not philosophical, not metaphorical. This is concrete, physical, biological, measurable, observable, real. Your heart is beating right now, this moment, contracting, relaxing, pumping, blood flowing, oxygen delivering, nutrients transporting, waste removing, every cell, every tissue, every organ being served, being supplied, being maintained by your beating heart that never stops, never pauses, never rests, beats continuously, from before birth until death. Billions of beats across decades, across your entire lifespan, never missing, never failing, never requiring your attention, your conscious effort, your deliberate control, just beating, just pumping, just sustaining your life, your body, your existence. Your lungs are breathing right now, this moment, expanding, contracting, drawing in, pushing out, air flowing, oxygen entering, carbon dioxide leaving, gas exchange, constant, continuous, essential, every breath, bringing what you need, removing what you don't, maintaining the delicate balance, the precise chemistry that keeps you alive, that keeps your brain functioning, that keeps every cell operating, surviving, thriving, breath after breath, minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, year after year, automatically, unconsciously, perfectly regulated by your brainstem, by ancient circuits, by evolutionary wisdom that knows exactly what you need, exactly when, exactly how much, without thought, without awareness, without any conscious participation. Your brain is working right now, this moment, processing, integrating, regulating, controlling everything, every system, every function, every process. Your brain monitors your internal state, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your temperature, your hydration, your oxygen, your pH, everything constantly, continuously comparing to set points, to ideal values, to what should be, and adjusting, always adjusting, sending signals, releasing hormones, activating nerves, changing function, modifying activity to maintain homeostasis, balance, stability, the narrow range of conditions that life requires, that survival demands, that health depends upon. This regulation is sophisticated, complex, elegant, involves countless mechanisms, feedback loops, control systems, all operating simultaneously, continuously, coordinated. Your brain, the master regulator, the central controller, the command center, managing everything without your awareness, without your input, without any conscious effort, just doing it, just working, just sustaining your life, your function, your existence through every moment, through every situation, through every challenge. Your brain adapting, adjusting, maintaining the conditions, the stability, the homeostasis that keeps you alive, functional. Your immune system, is working right now, this moment, patrolling, surveilling, protecting, billions of immune cells circulating through blood, through lymph, through tissues, searching for threats, for pathogens, for abnormalities, for anything that shouldn't be there, that could harm you, that needs elimination, finding them, recognizing them, destroying them before they can establish, can replicate, can cause illness, disease, damage. This happens constantly, continuously, every day, every hour, every moment. Your immune system fighting, defending, protecting, usually winning, usually preventing, usually eliminating threats before you ever know they existed, before you ever feel any symptoms. Your body defending itself, sustaining itself, maintaining your health automatically, unconsciously, perfectly. Even when you get sick, when infections break through, when symptoms develop, your immune system is still working, is fighting harder, is mobilizing maximum response, fever to inhibit pathogens, to enhance immune function, inflammation to isolate, infection to recruit, immune cells, antibody production, accelerating, intensifying, targeting the specific threat, the specific pathogen that invaded. All of this coordinated, sophisticated, powerful, your body fighting, healing, recovering, usually successfully, usually completely, restoring health, eliminating threat, returning to normal, to baseline, to sustained homeostasis. Your metabolism is working right now, this moment, every cell, metabolizing, converting nutrients into energy, into ATP, the energy currency, the fuel that powers everything, every process, every function, every activity, movement, thinking, digesting, healing, growing, maintaining, all require energy, all require ATP, all require metabolism, working continuously in every cell, in every tissue, throughout your entire body, taking what you ate, what you consumed, and transforming it into usable energy, into the power that sustains every process, that keeps everything working, functioning, operating as it should. This transformation is complex, sophisticated, involves multiple pathways, multiple steps, multiple enzymes, all working in sequence, in coordination, in perfect orchestration, breaking down glucose, fats, proteins, extracting energy, capturing in ATP, using for function, for maintenance, for life, and generating heat as byproduct, keeping you warm, maintaining body temperature, the temperature that enzymes need, that proteins need, that function requires, all of this happening automatically in every cell, every moment, sustaining your life, your activity, your existence. Your cells are repairing right now, this moment. Every cell has machinery, has systems for repair, for maintenance, for quality control, DNA repair, continuously operating, finding damage, fixing breaks, correcting errors, maintaining genetic integrity, preventing mutations, preventing cancer, preventing cellular dysfunction, protein quality control, identifying misfolded proteins, damaged proteins, abnormal proteins, and eliminating them, recycling them, maintaining only functional, only healthy, only proper proteins in the cell. Autophagy, the cellular cleaning process, digesting old organelles, damaged components, accumulated debris, breaking them down, recycling the building blocks, using them to build new components, new structures, new organelles. This renewal, this recycling, this maintenance keeps cells healthy, functional, young, slows aging, prevents disease, maintains quality, every cell, every tissue, every organ, constantly renewing, repairing, maintaining itself automatically, without your awareness, without your input, just happening, just working, just sustaining you. Your tissues are regenerating right now, this moment. Skin cells renewing every few weeks, new cells replacing old cells, constantly, continuously maintaining your skin, your barrier, your protection, gut lining, regenerating even faster every few days, new cells replacing old cells, maintaining your digestive tract, your nutrient absorption, your barrier function, blood cells regenerating constantly, bone marrow producing millions, billions every day, red cells, white cells, platelets replacing those lost, those aged, those damaged, maintaining your blood, your circulation, your immune system, your clotting, all continuously, all automatically, all perfectly regulated. Even neurons, previously thought permanent, unchanging, show plasticity, show adaptation, show renewal, synapses, forming, strengthening, weakening, pruning, constantly, based on use, based on experience, based on learning. Your brain reshaping itself, rewiring itself, adapting itself to your life, to your experiences, to your needs. This neuroplasticity, this adaptability continues throughout life, throughout adulthood, throughout aging. Your brain, never static, always changing, always adapting, always sustaining optimal function for your circumstances, for your life. Your bones are remodeling right now, this moment, osteoclasts, breaking down old bone, damaged bone, removing it, osteoblasts, building new bone, strong bone, replacing what was removed. This balance, this cycle, this constant remodeling maintains bone strength, bone density, bone health throughout life, responding to stress, to load, to demands, building more, where needed, where stressed, where strengthened, removing, where unnecessary, where unstressed, where not needed, your skeleton, constantly adapting, remodeling, maintaining the structure, the strength, the support your body requires. This is the sustaining. This is life, not a moment, not an event, but a process, continuous, ongoing, never stopping, never pausing, never resting, from conception to death, every moment between your body, working, functioning, maintaining, repairing, regenerating, defending, adapting, sustaining, you, your life, your existence, your consciousness, your experience, all dependent on this, all enabled by this, all sustained by this, constant, tireless, perfect work of your body, of your cells, of your systems, working for you, in you, as you. And tonight, right now, as you drift towards sleep, as consciousness fades, as awareness dissolves, this sustaining continues, doesn't stop, doesn't pause, doesn't require your awareness, your participation, your conscious attention. It continues independently, automatically, perfectly. Your brain working, your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your body maintaining, all of it continuous, all of it reliable, all of it sustaining you through sleep, through rest, through unconsciousness, through these hours when you're completely unaware, completely inactive, completely surrendered to sleep. The sustaining continues, the maintenance proceeds, the restoration occurs, all of it ongoing, all of it for you. Sleep is part of the sustaining, not separate, not independent, not apart from, but integral to, essential to, required for the sustaining. Sleep is when your body does its most intensive work, its deepest repair, its most complete restoration. Sleep is active, is productive, is working, not resting, in the sense of stopping, but resting in the sense of restoring, renewing, rebuilding what the day has depleted, has damaged, has worn down. Sleep restores, sleep renews, sleep sustains your body, your brain, your health, your life. Your brain, during sleep, cleans itself, flushes waste, removes toxins. The glymphatic system, operating primarily during sleep, during rest, when brain cells can shrink, when spaces can expand, when fluid can flow, washing away the debris, the proteins, the metabolic waste that accumulated during waking, during thinking, during living. This cleaning is essential, is necessary, is part of sustaining your brain, your cognitive function, your neurological health. Without sleep, without this cleaning, waste accumulates, toxins build, damage occurs, function declines, health deteriorates. Sleep prevents this. Sleep maintains this. Sleep sustains your brain every night, every rest, every sleep. Your body, during sleep, releases hormones, growth hormone, primarily during deep sleep. During slow wave sleep, this hormone signals repair, signals growth, signals restoration to every tissue, every cell. Muscle repair accelerates, tissue healing intensifies, cell regeneration optimizes, all during sleep, all because of growth hormone released during rest, during this essential time, this necessary state that sustains your body, your tissues, your physical health. Your immune system, during sleep, strengthens, produces more immune cells, more antibodies, more defensive proteins, more infection fighting components. Sleep enhances immune function, sleep supports immune response, sleep maintains your defenses, your protection, your ability to fight infection, disease, threats. Without sleep, without adequate sleep, immune function declines, weakens, fails. You become susceptible, vulnerable, at risk. Sleep protects, Sleep strengthens, sleep sustains your immune system, your health, your survival. Your metabolism during sleep regulates, balances, restores hormone levels, normalize, insulin sensitivity, improves, blood sugar, regulates, appetite hormones, balance, leptin rises, ghrelin falls, metabolism stabilizes, optimizes, prepares for tomorrow's food, tomorrow's energy, tomorrow's demands, sleep maintains, metabolic health, prevents, metabolic dysfunction, prevents, insulin resistance, prevents, diabetes, prevents, obesity. Sleep is part of metabolic, regulation of metabolic, health of metabolic, sustaining. Your memories during sleep consolidate, strengthen, integrate what you learned, what you experienced, what happened. Today, all being processed, evaluated, organized, stored, transformed, from temporary to permanent, from fragile to stable, from new to integrated. Sleep does this, sleep enables this, sleep sustains your memory, your learning, your accumulated knowledge, experience, skills, all dependent on sleep, on nightly processing, on constant consolidation that sleep provides. Your emotions during sleep process, integrate, regulate the intensity of today's feelings, being reduced, being managed, being integrated into your emotional history. REM sleep especially processes emotions, works through feelings, reduces emotional charge while preserving the memory, the lesson, the information. Sleep heals emotional wounds, sleep processes, emotional experiences, sleep maintains, emotional regulation, emotional balance, emotional health. Without sleep, emotions dysregulate, intensify, overwhelm. Sleep prevents this. Sleep manages this. Sleep sustains your emotional well-being. Everything that sustains you during waking continues during sleep and more. Additional processes, additional restoration, additional maintenance that can only happen during sleep, during rest, during this essential state, this necessary time that your body requires, that your brain demands, that your health depends upon. Sleep is not time wasted, not inactivity, not nothing. Sleep is active restoration, essential maintenance, critical sustaining of everything that makes you, you, that keeps you alive, that maintains you, healthy, functional, capable. So as you drift now, as you fade, as you let go, into sleep, into rest, into unconsciousness, know that, understand that, trust that. The sustaining continues, intensifies, optimizes your body working harder, more efficiently, more completely than during waking, doing its most important, most intensive, most restorative work while you are unaware, while you are unconscious, while you are completely surrendered to sleep. Your heart keeps beating, slowed, steadier, resting pace, but never stopping, never pausing, continuously pumping, delivering, maintaining circulation throughout the night, throughout your sleep, throughout every moment of rest, your heart sustaining you reliably, perfectly, continuously. Your lungs keep breathing, automatic, rhythmic, regular, brainstem, controlling perfectly, precisely, exactly what you need, no more, no less. Every breath bringing oxygen, removing carbon dioxide, maintaining gas exchange, maintaining blood chemistry, maintaining life throughout the night, throughout your sleep, throughout every moment of unconsciousness. Your brain keeps working differently, but working, processing, consolidating, cleaning, restoring, regulating all functions, all systems, all processes. Your brain never stops, never rests, never ceases. Functioning just changes, modes, changes, activities from conscious, processing to unconscious, restoration from active, thinking to active, healing from waking, function to sleeping, function, both active, both working, both essential, both sustaining you. You are safe in sleep, safe in unconsciousness, safe in this. Surrender, because your body knows what to do, has always known, has sustained you every night, every sleep, since birth, since beginning, successfully, completely, perfectly, and tonight is no different. Tonight, the same processes, systems, functions that have always worked, will work again, will sustain you again, will maintain you again through this night into tomorrow until you wake, until you return, until consciousness restores. Sleep now, rest now, be at peace now. Everything continues, everything works, everything is sustained through sleep, through your body's wisdom, through your brain's automatic processes, through the ancient rhythm, the universal pattern, the essential cycle of sleep, of rest, of restoration, happening now, happening tonight, happening for you, carrying you, holding you, sustaining you through the night, into tomorrow, into rest, into sleep, into peace. This has happened thousands of times, every night of your life, tens of thousands of nights, thousands of sleeps, all successful, all sustaining, all bringing you through night, into morning, through unconsciousness, into consciousness, through rest, into activity, every single time, without fail, without problem, without your body ever abandoning you, ever failing you, ever stopping. The sustaining, that keeps you alive, keeps you, you. You can trust this, can rely on this completely, totally, absolutely, because it has never failed, has always worked, has sustained you through every night, through every sleep, through every moment of your entire existence. This is proven, this is tested, this is reliable, beyond doubt, beyond question, beyond any uncertainty. Your body knows how to do this, has always known, will always know, as long as you live, as long as you exist. Millions of years of evolution have perfected this process, this sustaining, this sleep. Every ancestor, going back millions of years, slept, survived, thrived through sleep, through rest, through nightly unconsciousness, natural selection, preserved, optimized, perfected the mechanisms, the systems, the processes that sustain life through sleep. You inherit this perfection, this optimization, this evolutionary wisdom built into every cell, every system, every process of your body. You don't need to know how it works, don't need to understand the mechanisms, don't need to control the processes. They work automatically, perfectly, independently of your conscious mind, of your awareness, of your understanding. Just work, just function, just sustain, because that's what they do, what they've always done, what they'll continue to do tonight, tomorrow night, every night, for as long as you live. So let go completely, fully, totally let go of awareness, of consciousness, of control, surrender to sleep, to rest, to unconsciousness, trust completely that your body will continue, will sustain, will maintain, will carry you through the night, will bring you through to morning, will restore you, renew you, prepare you for tomorrow, for waking, for living again. The sustaining is everything, is life, is what keeps you here, keeps you existing, keeps you, and sleep is part of that sustaining, essential part, necessary part, required part, without which life cannot continue, health cannot maintain, function cannot sustain. Sleep is not luxury, not optional, not separate from life. Sleep is part of life, integral to life, essential for life. The sustaining continues through sleep, because of sleep, during sleep. Sleep itself is sustaining. Your body, right now, is preparing for this, for sleep, for rest, for restoration. Melatonin rising, temperature dropping, heart rate slowing, breathing deepening, everything shifting, transitioning from waking mode to sleeping mode, from conscious function to unconscious restoration. The shift is happening, is ongoing, is carrying you toward sleep, toward rest, toward the sustaining that sleep provides. You're safe, you're sustained, you're maintained through sleep, through rest, through this natural, this necessary, this essential process that has worked every night, that works tonight, that will work tomorrow night, and every night, every sleep, every rest, for as long as you live, for as long as you breathe, for as long as you exist, you are sustained through sleep, always through sleep. This gift, this necessity, this rhythm of life, sustaining you, maintaining you, keeping you alive, keeping you functional, keeping you through sleep, through rest, through this night, and every night to come. The processes are beginning, are ongoing, are intensifying as sleep deepens, as consciousness fades, as you drift away into that other state, that necessary state, that restorative state, where your body does its best work, its most important work, its most essential work of sustaining, of maintaining, of restoring you, your health, your function, your life. Everything is working. Everything is right. Everything is as it should be. Your body knows. Your brain knows. Evolution knows. This is what happens, what should happen, what must happen. Every night, every sleep, every rest, the sustaining continues through sleep, because of sleep, during sleep, all night long, until morning, until waking, until you return to consciousness, to awareness, to waking life. And you will return, will wake, will emerge, restored, renewed, refreshed, ready for another day, another cycle, another journey, through waking, through activity, through experience, through life, until tonight comes again, until sleep is needed again, until rest calls again, and the cycle repeats, has repeated thousands of times, will repeat thousands more. The rhythm of life, of existence, of being, human, waking and sleeping, activity and rest, consciousness and unconsciousness, all of it, normal, natural, essential, all of it, sustaining, maintaining, keeping you alive, keeping you well, keeping you. Sleep now, rest now, dream now, let everything go, let consciousness fade, let awareness dissolve, let yourself drift into sleep, deep sleep, peaceful sleep, healing sleep, restorative sleep, the sleep your body needs, the sleep your brain requires, the sleep that sustains your life, your health, your existence, through the night, until morning, until waking, until tomorrow comes. Good night. Sleep well, rest deeply, dream peacefully. You are sustained, you are maintained, you are carried through sleep, through rest, through night, into tomorrow, into morning, into another day, another cycle, another turn of the wheel of life, of existence, of being alive, being conscious, being you, all of it, sustained, all of it, maintained, all of it, continuing through sleep, through rest, through this essential, beautiful, ancient rhythm that has sustained every human, every ancestor, every person who ever lived, and sustains you tonight, tomorrow night, every night, forever, as long as you live, as long as you breathe, as long as you exist. Good night.